Try to take advantage of this. Loda on the low ground does get netted in. Reverse polarity coming out of Hani. He's going to skewer him back into Era, and a crit instantly kills 3 heroes from NoTidehunter. Loda dies before he gets to do anything. Welcome everyone to the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. It is finals day, of course, 2 semifinals and a grand finals to be played. The first of which is going to be Fnatic versus the newly named NoTidehunter, now called Alliance. But before we get too far into that, I want to introduce my co-caster for right now. Wepos, what's up?
Not much. Been away skiing for a week now, so feeling good.
Yeah, that's right. You've been out of the world of Dota for some time.
Yeah, haven't played since like last Friday. Or I played one game now, random anti-mage. I won. Anti-mage is hard.
And
game was good.
It's even worse than picking anti-mage, just getting a random anti-mage.
Yeah, because you can buy a poor shield straight away and just win the game, because you can't get harassed out of lane.
Well, there you
Pretty
go.
much.
And of course, as always, we're joined by our secondary panel of Bruno and our observer, Scriff.
How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, he mentioned you this time.
Yeah.
He likes
I mean,
you.
I always mention
You're better
him.
than James. I like you.
Every time.
We're good, by the way.
Yeah, we're great. We're great. We're excited to see the semifinals.
I'm kind of torn. I'm both sad and excited because it's the last day of the tournament.
There
I
will
want
be
more.
There will be more
I
tournaments.
want more. But I'm excited because it's going to be the finals and semifinals. So yeah, it's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day, and I'm hungry. I got to tell you that.
And then the finals after that. So we're going to go ahead and get things rolling here, but before we get into the first semifinals of today, we have a recap video of the last games that were played actually between Q Pandas and Fnatic.
Nicely, I'm sure, behind the team, and Wagger's going to get
going
involved
for
in
it.
front, and they're
Wagger's
going
cut
for
out.
Wagger.
Nice disruption. He's inside the pit. There's the ultimate coming out from Sing. They also Laguna Blade on Trixie. Air is so low, he's getting bursted so fast. The Rapier damage, though. They do manage to take out Select, but the Divine Rapier is on the ground. Sing picks it up. Now he's wreaking havoc. Alchemist gets the kill on Fly. Trixie not able to retreat either because of the track speed. And yeah, good night, Hani. I think we might have seen the end for Fnatic here in Game 1. It feels to me like they just get caught off guard a whole lot. They're trying to get something done here middle, but many going to be relevant. But once again, 2-second Chaos Bolt just immediately dies to the brain tap. Nice shackle, though, coming out of Sing. They might be able to burst Era. The tether actually breaks. No Tail can be forced back. Trixie now here as well. Throws out the cogs. Wagga going to be initiated on. There's the pull, but he doesn't actually get quite enough damage on him. Select will die in the crossfire. Heard a lasso go off, but don't really think it's going to do much of anything, and they managed to pick off Wagga. Sing surely going to be soon to follow right here. Throws another shackle on a Trixie. Somehow that latched. Very weird angle, but Sing ends up going down.
On mid, but actually Trixie looking to engage, and he will do so onto Sing. No force staff. He's not going to be getting out of here. There comes a flame break. Sing gonna go down to Era. Nicely done. Wagamama's going to come in, going to target down NoTel the best he can. NoTel looking to get away.
Trixie now trying to retreat. NoTel tethers back. Trixie ends up dying for it. Jerax going to be able to get the kill. Finally hitting level 6. Here comes the Brain Step though from Fly. Jerax manages to pop off the magic stick just before and is going to live for the moment, but they will manage to pick off Select on the top side. Eventually, Gyro will fall there. Actually dies to creep. So again, Fnatic taking a very, very successful fight. And I was going to say...
And is looking to back off. And look at this. NoTel. Perfect vision onto Mini. There, opens up with a silence. Wagger looking to go for him. Does have a chrono available. Mini having a really tough time. Isn't able to get away. Nope. Will be taken down by the bet. Nice blink in there from Hani. And this just looks horrible for Fnatic. They lose Lich. They lose Mini. Sing can do what he can, but I don't even think they were able to get the chrono out here as well. So this could be Rex. Defenders. Viegas was picked up on, I believe it was Trixie. Yes, it was. And the fight will start. And here comes the chrono.
Yeah, the chrono. Era taking a little bit of damage. Just look at how little Wag can do to him. Okay, so that was a really fast recap video, of course. That was the Q Pandas taking on Fnatic, which of course Fnatic bested them, and then Dignitas taking on Empire, and obviously Dignitas are going to be playing in the other semifinals today against Liquid, so we can all make that connection as to what happened. So, Bruno, I think we have a couple of stats to talk about before this first best of 3 and the teams themselves.
Yeah, let's talk about something. We're going to start talking about the tournament so far because this is the last time we'll be able to do it. Yep. We're talking about what happened, who the best players were, what the good heroes were, what bad heroes were. Unsurprisingly, 2 of the 3 players have always been here since the beginning. Yep. We see them both in today's semifinals, actually. The first one is Korok, 7 kills per game, 3.2 deaths, 7 point something assists, 463 GPM, mostly playing the solo mid role, sometimes playing the hard carry, but very, very relevant and crucial player in every single game for Team Liquid. Second, we have with 6.7 kills, we have Era, now playing for Fnatic, soon to be playing against Alliance. Of course, their carry player. Hard to say it's their star because there's no real star in Fnatic. Everyone is really, really good in that team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, he gets the numbers, but not because he's the best player necessarily, but because like his position allows him to play like that. Yep. Anyways, a great player there. And finally, because of yesterday's matches, didn't favor the Cupid Red Pandas very much. Sing Sing has dropped, and we have as the third player with most kills per game. It's actually Tame Wild, or Crazy, from Virtus Pro, which is crazy because... Which is crazy, ha.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't meant to do that, sorry.
Shit.
Yeah, because they knocked out and they lost pretty much every game, but they still like...
3, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So he got lots of kills even if he wasn't doing so well. For the best heroes, the only hero that hasn't lost a game with more than 5 games is still Chen. Wisp only lost 1 game, so doing really, really good. We saw them yesterday. We saw in the recap videos how Fnatic used that hero to the perfection to destroy Cupid Red Pandas. And finally, Lion, which is 4-1 in 5 games. Finally, the worst heroes are Gyrocopter with only 1 game. So once a favored carry, now not so much. People still pick him, as we can see, 13 games, but not as effective. Same thing happens with Dax here. Been in a bit of a winning streak recently, but I mean, just getting 4 games out of 15 is not enough to actually make this hero a threat. Yeah. Finally, the Bad Rider, the hero that everyone bans, and if they don't ban, you just try to get him. Again, not so bright, just 4 and 9. People seems to be favoring more the Magnus, for example, or mids that have a bigger impact with their ultimates or just big team fight potential. And while Bad Rider still is really strong with the lasso and with the napalm stack on whatever team fight happens, it just lacks the oomph that actually Magnus has. So that's it for the tournament. And now we're moving for teams, and we're going to talk about the team who changed names recently. That's not teams.
Both teams.
But it doesn't matter. We'll talk about head-to-head. Yeah, it's fine. So we have Alliance with their new logo. Hopefully not.
NoTidehunter.
Yeah. Well, we have to see if this is the final logo because it's like, to me it's kind of weird, but it's just an A, right?
Yep. It looks like there's something more.
No, it's just Alliance. It's the Alliance part of Alliance. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of odd. And then we have Fnatic with the same logo as usual, which is really cool. So you have the head-to-head. These teams have been faced each other 14 times. They're 7-7. This is 14 games, not 14 series, in the past year. And Fnatic won the group stage. Remember, they won versus NTH 2-1. D2L Season 2, Fnatic won that game there. And the Defense 3. Alliance won the Starlight 5 finals, of course, which they didn't really win because it was a 2-2. Because they came have the winner bracket, so they had an advantage there. The Premier League 4, the group stage as well, and EMS Cup, because NTH beat pretty much anyone that they faced in EMS Cup. They ended up first with a huge advantage over the second. So that's it for the teams right now. Well, yeah, I mean, we can see that Alliance is in a bit of a streak right now. They're 8-2. And I think that the only 2 games they lost were recently against Fnatic for the Starlight finals. Exactly. So even if they lost 2 games, they actually won the series. Fnatic not doing so great. They were 2-8, I think, yesterday. They won 2, and now they're 4-6. They're getting better, getting there. This is a rematch of the Starlight 5 finals. So, having said that, and going back to the people in the studio, I have to ask you, who do you think is going to win today?
Well, considering Alliance took the Starlighter finals, I think they have a small advantage going into this. we'll see if Fnatic can adapt and like draft differently or think about stuff that happened in the Star Ladder finals. And especially if the alliance doesn't go like Ogre Magi and Trien, they will hopefully...
Hey, we saw Ogre Magi win with the gyrocopter.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, Trien.
Okay.
You love the tree?
No, I don't like
You're
tree.
a tree hater.
I like
I
the
don't
tree.
like tree.
Tree's like the best.
Yeah, I love tree too.
Tree
I want to
hugger.
see it, but whoever picks it is probably going to lose. But yeah, so, but I favor Alliance a bit going into
Cool.
this. Not much, but a bit.
Cool, great.
I'm a Fnatic guy. I think Fnatic are still going to be able to win here. Like Bruno mentioned in the Star Ladder 5 finals, they came in with a winner advantage for Alliance. So, I mean, technically, they didn't have to win quite as many games. But it's also important to keep in mind that actually both semifinals today are finals of other tournaments.
Yep.
The first best of 3 today was Star Ladder 5 finals. The second semifinals today are going to be the finals of the D2L. So I think pretty much every single match we're going to have today, no matter what, is going to be really, really good. But I think Fnatic are probably going to take this first series.
It's gonna be awesome. Weapons. What do you
I'd
think?
say 2-1 Alliance.
2-1 Alliance.
Yeah.
What did you say,
That's what I
Scriff?
think.
I said I favored Alliance small. I didn't
Is it
say
because of the name?
You didn't
Result?
say. Okay.
2-1
It's only because of the
It's
name.
the name.
It's
Gotta
only
be
the
the
name,
name.
like Alliance.
Okay, I'm going to Alliance.
I'm the only one who thinks Fnatic's going to win.
What?
You guys all said that you think
Did you
Alliance
say
are going to
Fnatic?
win. I'm the only
No,
one
I
who
said Alliance 2-0.
Wins
Bruno, the
2-0.
guy who doesn't even bandwagon, is bandwagoning against me right now. Yeah. Unbelievable. No, it's okay.
No, but I
It's
think
fine,
the
'cause
Alliance
when
is gonna
Fnatic
take it.
win,
It's like-
it's going to be good for me.
It's gonna be good.
It's going to be
Hopefully
awesome.
for everyone.
Of course, we actually have everybody inside the lobby, so I believe Scriff, you
Yep.
hosted the lobby, so we're going to get that started for you guys here in just a second. But of
Are
course,
they ready?
it's going to be, yeah, everybody's
Have you
been
checked
ready
everything?
for
So everything's
quite a while.
correct and stuff?
It's
I mean,
Stockholm.
We're getting hands.
Yeah,
from
but I
trans
mean,
right
like,
now.
with
Nobody
first
knows
pick
what
and
that
stuff?
means. What?
I don't know.
I'm getting hands.
Who has first pick? Bruno.
Well,
So
if
this is all stuff we should have.
Fnatic should have picked side and they picked Dire, so first pick Radiant,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
First
it's
pick
easy.
Radiant. What server do you want? Stockholm or Luxembourg?
Is it-
Luxembourg.
Are they still
Luxembourg.
okay? Like, are the servers messed up like they were earlier?
No, that's US East. US East servers
No,
were...
but it was more than US East because they were finding server problems the
Here
other
we
day.
go.
They were talking about it.
Start game.
But anyway, yeah, the
Yeah,
game's
this
gonna
should
go
be
ahead.
working. Like, if we just
Oh.
spend 15 minutes finding server...
Disconnected from the server.
Disconnected from the server.
Oh, dear.
Reconnect.
Oh, yeah! Let's talk about the teams!
Yeah, we can do this when the game's loading. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but that was...
That's why I didn't
that was
understand.
Trans was
But anyway,
playing charades with us.
yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to play Pictionary or charades with Trance because I'm never going to understand what he's trying to talk about. But I'll go over this team really quick here. Of course, it's Fnatic, and Bruno, you can take the newly named
Sounds
Alliance. But Era, of course, playing carry, as per usual. Hani actually playing solo mid, not quite as often anymore. We actually got a chance to see NoTail play mid a couple of times the other day. Fly, of course, team captain, also going to be playing out support. And then you have Trixie as their offlaner.
Yep. And for the side of Alliance, we have, as usual, Loda as the carry. Aki and EGM are the supports. Admiral Bulldog, the offlaner, the great guy that always plays Lone Druid or Nature's Prophet, and he plays it perfectly.
Bounty Hunter 2.
What?
Bounty Hunter 2.
Bounty Hunter 2,
And
that's
Clockwork.
right. And Clockwork. Yeah, he plays a few heroes.
Every other off-lane hero.
He just became famous for that.
Yeah.
pretty much.
And as for one of my favorite solo mid
Yeah,
players,
really strong with puck.
really strong with Puck, really strong with Magnus.
Yep.
Everything.
Stalker.
Yeah, really
Good
strong with
pain.
pretty much any hero that
Hey,
goes mid.
He's just good.
It's good, period.
He's a good mid
Yeah.
hero.
So that's it for the teams. And did we actually get into the game?
I think somebody is not loading. This
We're
could be
waiting for
one of
load.
those,
They're
somebody accidentally went
reconnecting.
AFK thinking the game was going to load, and then suddenly the server bugs. So he's got to hit reconnect, actually, before the game's going to be underway. So yeah,
Yeah.
Loda pulling a Loda as from the teammate of Alliance. But I still feel like Fnatic are going to take this. I think you guys are all crazy. NTH. Even you said 2-0, Bruno?
I said 2-0.
Like 2-0? I don't know, man. I'm feeling like Fnatic. Like,
I don't know. I feel
2-1.
like I feel they're really
Maybe
inspired.
2-1.
They're really inspired by their new logo, their new name,
Sponsor.
sponsor.
Coming out.
and they're like, now we have to prove ourselves. We're Alliance. We're not NoTidehunter.
No
so
curse.
first pick Tidehunter and win this game, just to prove that we're a new team with a new resolution.
They can pick Tidehunter again.
Yeah, they can pick Tidehunter
Oh,
if they so decide, of course.
Okay,
But
so
no
we
challenge.
failed to load, which means, Scriff, you
Oh,
gotta get on all that stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully the game actually loads this time. I'm not really sure what causes that, by the way, when you get like the random
It's-
disconnect and you have to
it's
reconnect
weird.
back to
Tell
the
me
game.
where we can do this again.
I think we're actually good to go right now. It's fine. You can just restart the game. Just
What?
hopefully everybody actually
Start
loads
game.
this time. Yeah, start game.
Bam.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Nope.
Nope. It's going to mess up again.
And before Loda doesn't connect again,
No, he's going to be back this time. I have faith.
hopefully.
Hopefully. It's okay,
Well,
though,
we'll
because
see,
we
we'll
have other
see.
stuff to talk about. We can talk a little bit about the rest of the tournament so far. We can talk about the next semifinals that we have coming today, which I think is going to be awesome as well. And we, of course, have the brackets for that. Maybe we understand a little bit more what Trance was doing with the charades now.
Getting better.
A little bit. I'm just saying.
It's interesting to see that we have a all-European final and an all-American finals.
Semi-finals.
Yeah, sorry,
No
semi-finals.
matter what, it's going to
Two
be.
finals. Holy shit, this is the best tournament ever.
USA. USA.
USA,
All
USA,
teams.
USA.
USA is going down.
There you go.
It's USA versus USA.
I don't
finals.
believe.
But this also means that no matter what, during the finals, we're going to have NA versus EU.
Yeah.
Which is also good.
Yeah. I like that.
We'll see which continent is better.
Well, technically, I'm here, so does that mean I'm an American, or does that mean that I'm...
You're a
What the-
Swedish guy
I mean,
now.
I can't even start talking. I'm a South American.
I mean,
don't even
technically, I
count.
could be a citizen of both countries.
You're Swedish now.
I'm a citizen of the world.
You can't
Bruno is a
You
citizen
can't
of the
share
world, actually.
for.
I mean, look at that
USA
shirt.
anymore.
That is a
I'm
world
very sweet.
shirt. Yeah, there you go.
You are?
It says
I'll lick you later.
Ugh.
It's okay, but the game's actually started now, so this is good. That means we can actually get inside the
Spearfitting
game for you
ideas.
guys. It's the first semifinal today for the Dota 2 Dreamhack Invitational, and it's going to be Fnatic taking on NTH, or if you want to call them Alliance now, that would be okay too. So the bands already started here, and of course Fnatic are going to be second pick, their dire side. NTH get first pick for the first game. They decided to take out the Lifestealer and Keeper of the Light, and then Fnatic, they've banned out Wisp, which is a hero that they themselves are quite comfortable with.
Yeah, NoTidehunter plays Wisp quite a bit as well. I believe EGM likes to play that, and then they line it up with either DK or
10
a Chaos
seconds
Knight or
remaining.
something along those lines. But it's nice to see a Lifestealer
5
being a first ban,
seconds
actually,
remaining.
just because he's like played every game all the time. So
Reserve
it's nice to not having to see him for a while, and yeah.
Well, I'm curious to what NoTidehunter, or I guess Alliance, are going to do, which is weird because their name in game actually says NoTidehunter, even though they just announced that they had the new name today. So, regardless, I feel as though Fnatic coming into this, they're going to be feeling pretty confident with themselves. They did beat Q-Pandas the other day, and I wouldn't necessarily say it was the closest best of 3 series, especially considering the Q-Pad Red Pandas pulled out some pretty interesting draft choices, especially that Lich tri-lane. I believe it was in game number 3. So they're going to have a bit of momentum. NoTidehunter, they haven't had a chance to play any games recently in our tournament in particular, but they have been busy in other places. So taking quite a bit of time, actually, for the second ban of Fnatic here. And they've already taken out Wisp. I mean, you have Nyx available, you have Batrider available, and things like Darkseer really just aren't seen banned too much anymore. Of course, you could ban Prophet, because people like playing him nowadays as well. You see him in pretty much every lineup in the first 3, if he's not actually banned.
Yeah, the question now for Fnatic is, I'd say the big question is, are they going to ban Lone Druid, or are they going to risk giving it to NoTidehunter? Because it feels like even if they leave Nyx and Bat through, I wouldn't be surprised to see if NoTidehunter actually pick the Lone Druid first, unless, of course, the Nyx is. But now,
Radiant
I'm
team pick.
not too sure that they're scared about the Batrider, but they're actually going to pick it. So, Lone Druid straight away to Fnatic, which is a bit surprising to me, since NoTidehunter always likes to get that Lone Druid as fast as they can.
I find it a bit strange as well, but it does allow S4 to get Batrider, and he's a really, really good Batrider player. But it also means that Fnatic, they're going to be starting off with some relatively strong push. They're going to have a Lone Druid, they're going to have a Chen, which means you have potential for some early towers going down. It also kind of gives away what your lanes could be a little bit. Sure, Trixie could potentially be going to the Alpha lane. Depending on what NoTidehunter feel, though, he could just as easily go back and do some
10
double jungling.
seconds
There's a lot of
remaining.
teams who are actually starting to do that lately. So for Fnatic, you're looking at
5
potentially 2 more
seconds
heroes to
remaining.
complete that defensive tri-lane and a mid, and then, of course, for NoTide, they've pretty much got all their options still open to them.
Yeah, and especially with the Shen, the double jungle, like you said, they can stack the hard camp quite a bit, and then
Yeah.
try and get a tornado creep and just get a lot of gold as well as levels. Mostly the gold is going to go to Shen, of course, because of the tornado, but the levels are going to come there for the Lone Druid, and as soon as he hits level 7 and gets that level 4 bear, they're going to be able to push the towers a lot faster. So, like you said, though, a lot of options still for NoTidehunter. So, we'll see what they want to try and go for.
And this is usually the point when you would want a hero like Lifestealer, when you already have a Batrider at your disposal, you're already up against a Lone Druid, but of course, Alliance themselves, they have banned it out, so they're not going to have the opportunity to pick it up. Do they want to try to go for the reach kind of a strategy that a lot of people are trying nowadays, where you get something like, of course, a Nature's Prophet, which we already talked about, seeing all the time, but a lot of people are starting to gravitate towards heroes like Storm, even without Lifestealer on their team, just because of how aggressive you can play with that hero.
Yeah, especially if the team doesn't, or the opposing team doesn't have too many lockdowns. It's
Yeah.
really, really good to have the Storm, because he can wreak havoc behind the supports. If he can jump on the Shen in the back lines while he tries to micro his creeps in the front lines, they're going to lose Hand of God and a mech as well. So a Storm could always be very good to see, but we're going to see the Gyrocopter and the Prophet like you mentioned. And I believe lately Alliance have been playing the Gyrocopter more as a carry. They haven't really used him in the support role too much lately. They're just using him as a hard carry instead, and Loda usually plays it then.
A hard carry gyro is always going to be a threat, especially as the game stretches on, because flat cannon scales just ridiculously throughout the game. The one thing, though, that you see a lot of different iterations is the builds on Gyrocopter. Some people nowadays go for the phase drums, they'll go for phase Shadow Blade, they might just rush a BKB. It seems like people are a bit indecisive in what build they feel is best on the hero, because they realize that you have to compensate for your mid-game physical damage not being so good by potentially picking up a Shadow Blade. But at the same time, you kind of need magic immunity in some cases. Maybe for Fnatic's lineup this time, not so much, because Puck is the only hero who you really have to worry about. But we'll see what he decides to go for. And the second ban phase, it's already started. Lina going to be banned out by Fnatic, and Juggernaut and Leshrac taken out by Alliance.
Yeah. I like the last pickup from Fnatic, picking up the Puck, since it's very good to have against a Batrider. Unless you initiate with a Puck, you can always have the Dream Coil, kind of like a Shadow Demon, except it's your ultimate, so it's a bit longer cooldown, of course, but just dropping the Dream Coil when the Bat wants to try and pull someone is really good, because you can capitalize on the Bat then and just try and get a kill off. So a very nice hero, and he works well in mid as well. He can't really die against the Bat unless you use your orb aggressively, which most of the times you don't when you play against something that you know can just kill you if you do it.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mention that, because I've seen people in the past do that. They'll throw an orb off, they'll have 4 stacks, and they're like, oh, right. And then they just fall over in the lane because you get to like 5 and 6, and the damage is way, way too much. So Alliance, they're going to ban out Lycan. So Fnatic, obviously, with the Lone Druid and Chen, you know Lycan is a hero that is always going to be put in a safe lane. You're never going to run an aggressive tri lane with that hero, period. He doesn't offer much lane presence, but what he does offer, if he gets an early start, is ridiculously powerful mid-game with high physical damage and high push potential. So I do enjoy that ban quite a bit here from Alliance. And now Fnatic, they're looking to ban out one more. And if they want to try to continue this push, it's important to keep in mind that heroes like Luna are still available to them.
Yeah, for sure. They can go for Luna in the safe lane and then just go for a level 4 push with a 2 aura, and Shen coming out with 1 creep usually is enough. If you can get a Troll Warlord or maybe a Centaur, that's going to help you out quite a bit, getting the extra attack speed, or of course the skeletons to push faster. So wouldn't be bad, but Bane is going to be the last ban out for Fnatic, and now as it looks like, Alliance is going to try and get 2 supports, of course, to run with the Gyrocopter in the safe lane.
I have a little bit of a worry right now for Alliance too, is if you look at Fnatic's lineup, say for instance they do pick up the Luna, and they do want to try to go for some heavy push, their team fight not only is going to be incredibly strong with Hand of God, Dream Coil, and Eclipse, but if you look at Alliance's lineup right now, they don't really have that good of anti-push. So they have basically Call Down, Firefly, and a couple of Treants basically, and that's it. They don't really have anything else to offer. Rubik helps a bit. I suppose Fade Bolt does reduce that damage pretty significantly of an incoming push, but I feel as though Fnatic, they could very easily go for that pick and just kind of mow down some tier 1 towers very quickly.
Yeah, like you said, Alliance isn't really going to be able to stop them unless Bulldog does what he usually tries and does do with the Treants, of course, just pull the creep wave away. But it's not really going to be enough. Like you said, they gotta have to use Firefly as well as the Call Down, and if they go for a level 4 push on Fnatic's side, they're going to get Vengeful Spirit now, so that Luna pick might actually still be in the thought process for them. But if they go for a level 4 push, level 2 aura, and on the Vengeful Spirit, another creep from Shen, and then of course a Luna creep, or a Luna if they pick up the Luna, it's going to be pretty much impossible for Alliance to stop them, because Gyro's going to be forced to TP up and use the flat cannon to try and burst it down, but it's not going to be enough damage. So at this point they really need some
10 seconds
proper anti-pushing, or just a great team fight to just capitalize on them. When they try and push, they just team fight them from the start.
Yeah, and with the addition of Vengeful Spirit, you have this team composition that can really disrupt what a Batrider wants to do. You spoke earlier about how Puck's counter initiation is great, which it definitely is, but now you have a swap. So if whatever carry they pick gets lassoed, then you have a potential for a Dream Coil if you don't get Puck, and then you have a potential for a swap if you don't get Vengeful Spirit. And then you still have somebody like Chen who can send you home. You still have Hand of God and Mech once he gets up those core items. So The team fight for Fnatic, for me, I have to favor a little bit, at least in the early stages. Of course, as time goes on, you're going to have Gyrocopter getting more farm, Matrix Prophet, always able to abuse the map pretty easily and get some pretty good farm as well. So Venomancer, the last pick out here from Alliance, and their lineup, it could potentially be aggressive just with the Venomancer pick. Just a Rubik alone, I would probably say not so much because his damage output isn't fantastic. But they do that. And no, Fnatic, they're not going to go for the Luna. They're going for an Alchemist.
It's going to go pure damage for the team fights. And having the Alchemist together with the Puck is going to be really, really good. If they can get hit a really good Dream Coil, then they're going to be stuck there. And the Alchemist is going to be able to pound out damage on them. So I really like that pick. But like we talked about, though, the Luna wouldn't really have been a bad pick just because of the extra damage and the push potential, but now they got some really late game potential again, or as well, going up against the Gyrocopter if they want to push it late game.
Well, we're going to go over the lineup of Fnatic here really, really quickly while we have the time. Of course, playing on the Vengeful Spirit, we're going to have Fly, and then Chen is going to be handled by No-Tail, no real surprise there. The Alchemist, last pick out here, Fnatic, going to be played by Era, Lone Druid, once and pretty much all the time going to be played by Trixie, and then finally that leaves Hani going to be going mid here on the Puck.
Yep, and on the side of the Lions we got S4 playing that Bat Rider, Ake picking up the Venomancer, EGM playing that Rubik, Loda down in the bottom lane on that Gyrocopter, and of course Admiral Bulldog on his Nature's Prophet.
So looking at the way the lanes are shaping up so far, of course Venomancer for the moment, he's kind of just hovering around the middle lane with EGM. We saw the supports up there. If they wanted to, running an aggressive tri-lane is possible. But after seeing the Alchemist pick, Fnatic themselves at the very least aren't really expecting that. And if they do run an aggressive tri-lane against it, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for Era to get farm in the situation. But we can see Admiral Bulldog on the minimap here. He's going to be walking towards that top lane, which means that pretty much Era can have total uncontested farm. And that's a dangerous thing. We've seen what an Alchemist can do if nobody interrupts, especially if you max out that Gravel's Greed.
Yeah, Alchemist farm is just... You can be, I believe, at least between 30 and 50 last hits behind another hard carry, and you can still keep on top of the gold just because of that Gravel's Greed. But I like the decision from Fly, actually, picking up the early boots.
Yeah. Bottom lane, you can see the bear taking some damage here. And this is nice too, because if you have Gale, you can actually just kill the bear. So the creep pull is pretty much not going to happen, just the pure damage between those two heroes. Loda actually gets the bear last hit too, which means an extra 100 gold for him. And in the meantime, these Treants probably not going to make it back to the tower. Actually, they might. And Fly's got an end rune here in the top lane, but of course Admiral Bulldog not going to be getting too far away from the tower. Just a bit dangerous at the moment, but that's actually a pretty big deal, to be able to stop Trixie from getting anything accomplished in this bottom lane by having that particular support. I don't think anyone else besides Bane can abuse the bear as badly as the Venomancer does.
Yeah, that was a very nice start. And then of course EGM not pulling the creep wave into the tower, actually. They pulled it into their own creep wave, just pulling it via the jungle, so managing to get some farm for Loda as well. Not really missing out on some last hits, but EGM taking some damage now, being right-clicked by Trixie, as well as him, of course, pulling the wave. So at this point, they're really just keeping the wave.
EGM, he's taking a lot of damage here. He's kind of just wandering around. He's going to find solace in a range creep, but a range creep is unfortunately not long for this world. And this is a double wave, so Loda going to have to do some CSing under the tower. And what's important to note here, too, is that that stacked camp are Wolves and Centaurs. That is like the highest damage combination that you can possibly get in one of the tankier ones, too. So you can see them kind of just running around down here like chickens with their head cut off. It's pretty annoying situation for them.
Yeah. And yeah, like we said, Loda's going to get quite a bit of farm here. He's a bit behind, though. Era's been hitting pretty much every last hit so far. He's up to 12 last hits, and he's got 2 levels into Gravel's Greed, so even though Loda is close, Era is going to start to pull away really soon.
There's no way you can keep up with an Alchemist. It's just way, way too hard. Fly going to be making his way back up to the top lane. And what kind of hurts Alliance here, too, is that the dive potential from Fnatic's tri-lane is actually quite strong. We can see No-Tail. He's smoked up here. He's running behind the tower, and Admiral Bulldog really doesn't have any mana. He is going to run basically right into No-Tail, though. And unfortunately, Fly has no real way of trying to help without making it completely obvious that he's here. So at the moment, kind of a passive early game, though I think it was to be expected.
Yeah, but like I pointed out, you said with the dive potential, what I really liked that I pointed out a bit in the start is the Fly actually picked up boots straight away. So he's going to be able to catch up to Bulldog really fast and just be able to put that pressure out or get the stun up so you can get the follow-up from the Shen. So they really got that dive potential if they want to. And of course, if they want to roam instead, they got that potential with the boots.
And Fly trying his best here to deny Emerald Bulldog pulling the creep wave, but he's still doing a really nice job of it. Still getting some experience, still getting some gold. Of course, he's only up to 1 last hit, but Trixie's pretty much in the same boat. He's only got 2, and Trixie's basically just creep blocking in the bottom lane to try to get the wave back as much as he can. It's really difficult, though, especially if your supports are pulling properly. It's very difficult to get the lane in your favor. So both offlaners kind of struggling here. In middle, though, haven't really talked a whole lot about that. Hani sitting at 13-4 comparative to S4 is 13-4, so they're completely tied. This is actually a bit of a surprise, although Hani does have those illusions, so it helps a bit in that regard.
Very nice stacks on the illusions. 10 stacks.
Yeah, 10 stacks.
I think I've never seen that, even though it's illusions, but still, like, I don't think I've seen that before. But yeah, like you said, a very even lane, and Hani's really keeping up with the last hits, which is good, or both of them are keeping up with the last hits and denying pretty much the same amount. So S4 is just going to push the lane up now so he can see if he can get the rune control, but Fly is already up in top lane and Hani's pre-runing bottom, so he's going to be able to get that rune.
That is a bit unfortunate for S4, but the rest of Alliance, you see Emerald Bulldog now, he has abandoned the top lane. He decided to go to the jungle now. He doesn't really want any part of top lane. He realizes that it's going to be too difficult for him to get anything done. And Trixie hasn't really adopted the same thing. He's still trying to use his bear. It's going to get telekinesed actually in the bottom lane and also get galed, so there's a chance it could drop here, but a very fortunate full creep wave to eat some of that rocket barrage damage, and it will live at least for the time being. So he's actually getting nothing, whereas Emerald Bulldog, he's made that transition. He's starting to make his early game at least not that bad.
Yeah, and you can see the good thing with the Venomancer pick now, the wards of course. They got 2 levels into the Plague Ward, so they're going to be able to put some pressure, and since Fnatic hasn't really done it yet, they're starting to do it now. No-Tails picked up a troll, so they're going to get the extra skeletons, but they're pretty much going to trade the tier 1 towers at the same time, which is a bit surprising since Fnatic, of course, being the ones with the Shen as well as the Vengeful, so they got the aura, should be able to push a bit faster, but they've been playing so passive and just trying to stop Bulldog that it's been very hard for them. But now both teams are going to be able to finish off these tier 1 towers.
I think when No-Tail smoked up there and he saw Admiral Bulldog, he could have just scared him back, potentially taken the tower that much faster. Maybe they wanted Era to hit 6 beforehand. He's actually decided to pick up some treads too. And he still hasn't put any points into Acid Spray at all. It's just Unstable Concoction and of course 3 points into that Greevil's Greed. And he's sitting at 36 CS. So he's definitely one of the higher in the games at the moment, and of course that's going to be inflated by his passive. And Fnatic, they're just auto-attacking this wave down. It looks like they could potentially go for the tier 2, while of course Alliance are pressuring Fnatic's tier 2 in the bottom lane.
And at this point it feels like Alliance actually will be the ones getting the upper hand on this, because it feels like they're going to be able to get the tier 2 tower, since they only got Trixie. He's going to be able to pull the wave away. But in the bottom lane, they got the Plague Wards, and they can have 5 or 6 up that can tank up until the next wave comes, which is really good. Even though Ake is very low on mana right now, they're only going to be able to get 1 or 2 wards up before they actually have to back out. But in the top lane, like we said, Bulldog can actually pull the wave away with his 3 ants, and it's going to be hard for Fnatic to stop it, and they can't just push with the skeletons and the troll, even though they got the Alchemist ultimate.
Well, we'll see if Fnatic can actually get anything here in this top lane, but both teams seemingly going to be backing off of their respective tier 2 pressure. So it's going to come down to basically the mid movement now, because the tier 1s have died, which means the supports are going to start opening up. They're going to start potentially trying to roam, but Fnatic, they have a puck mid. Much more difficult to gank than a Batrider. Sure, Batrider has an escape mechanism with that Firefly, but he doesn't really have like a blink mechanism. He doesn't have a phase shift to disjoint any damage or maybe even a stun that's going to be coming his way. So I feel like a puck is a bit easier to initiate with than a Batrider, especially before the Batrider has a blink. So Fnatic, if they wanted to, they could potentially force some fights here.
Yeah, rotate the Vengeful Spear together with the Shen, of course, could be very good for them. Just stopping S4, getting his blink that much faster, because as soon as you get that blink up on the Batrider, he's going to be able to start doing stuff if the puck isn't actually there, which is going to be very good for them, because this push is delaying Fnatic's level 6 on the Vengeful, or Fly's level 6 on the Vengeful, so the swap isn't going to be there by the time that S4 gets a blink if they don't stop him from getting a blink.
Well, Flat Cannon being used here by low to bottom lane, still applying some pressure to the tier 2, and they do those Plague Wards up. And you can't pull Plague Wards away like you can the creeps, and we can see Admiral Bulldog, like you said, just trying to pull them out. But the Dark Troll Warlord does have 2 sets of skeletons out, or did, I should say, for a short period of time. And this tier 2, dropping quite low. There is no glyph either, so if Era wants to, he can pop that Chemical Rage, potentially just go for it. And that is going to be what he does. Era going for the last hit, does manage to secure it. He's up to 1,700 gold now. And typically, Fnatic, when they play Alchemist, they do like to go for the Shadow Blade. They do like to go for that mid-game aggression. I think that suits their team quite well, because you can play essentially 4 versus 5, and then just have Trixie farming or pushing another lane, because Lone Druid, with this kind of a start, I mean, his bear doesn't even have Entangle, so he's not going to be able to contribute a whole lot. But you can still create quite a bit of space for him with the lineup that Fnatic have with their current 4.
Yeah, and getting a Shadow Blade up, you can just rotate with 3 heroes, and Alchemist, because of him having Greevil's Greed, his farm isn't really going to lack that much. He can fall behind in creep kills, like we said, because he's still going to farm just as good as Loda, even though he can be 50, 60 creep kills behind. So just roaming around with the Shadow Blade could be very good for them, having the setup from the Vengeful Spirit, and then of course the follow-up from the Alchemist or the Shen being there could be very good for them.
A Fnatic not really moving around just yet. Vengeful Spirit and NoTail currently just farming the woods, and top lane Era's just farming in the most aggressive position that he could possibly be in, but it's really hard to kill him. I mean, he's got that Quelling Blade, and Emerald Bulldog, even if he tries to teleport behind, it's going to be pretty obvious whenever a gank's coming, because S4 at the moment just sitting mid, prioritizing it against Blink. Hani also spotting out EGM here in the bottom woods, and EGM's only level 4, so he does need to be careful. Hani, of course, level 7. He's got the max rank of his orb, but I think he needs one more. 1 rank in Waning Rift, probably not going to be long enough of his silence to actually kill him, but Fly TPs to the tier 2 with the smoke, and they could be going for a kill here.
This could be a very easy first blood for them if Hani sticks around, but Hani actually is going to use his orb, and it's going to force EGM back quite fast. Even though the Invis room wasn't up for that much longer, still a bit surprising. He could have just backed out and waited for Fly to get down, and they should have been able to get the first blood there.
Especially since they knew they had just pulled, and there was no way for them to know that Hani was there. He could have basically just sat on the other side of the trees, and Fly actually used a smoke for that. And he teleported to the bottom tier 2. So that's time that Fly isn't going to have on the map, where we can see that Alliance, they've got Admiral Bulldog farming the jungle again. He's actually up to level 5, so he's not doing that badly. And Ake, of course, sitting at level 4 with his 2 points into those Plague Wards that we spoke about earlier. But Fnatic, I mean, they're kind of just sitting down here at the moment. They're not really pressuring the tier 1. Sure, Era is still farming great, which is going to be nice, but they're not necessarily holding down Loda's farm either.
Yeah, and since Hani was sticking around there, S4's almost got his blink. He's about 200 gold away from his blink, which is really, really good for Alliance and could be very devastating for Fnatic. Since Hani was sitting down there for so long, Era was just or S4 was just free farming, so he's actually about 8 last hits above Hani now, since Hani was farming some jungle, but it's still lane creeps that S4 is getting, so very nice gold for him.
It's a bit uncharacteristic, actually, of Fnatic to just kind of waste time like that. I mean, S4, once he gets a Blink Dagger, he's going to find the openings. Like, he's a very, very good Batrider player. He's not going to go on the wrong targets. He's going to usually go for Hani in most cases, I would assume, or the Vengeful Spirit. It's too risky to go for a hero like Alchemist or the Lone Druid. They're too tanky, too many methods of counter initiation, so you want to try to go for the ones who are going to have the biggest impact inside of the fight. So NoTail showing off his newly completed mechanism. He's not, actually did just hit level 6, so he's got Hand of God. He's got mech. I would assume of any time, this is going to be when Fnatic want to try to push, because Chen is basically one of the strongest points he's ever going to be in the game, and Era just got his Shadow Blade right now.
Yeah, everything is pretty much just going the way of Fnatic at this point. Getting the Shadow Blade out, like you said, level 6, as well as a mechanism up on the Shen. They can just start and try and steamroll at least the mid tower as well as the bottom tower and really force fights. The Blink Dagger is up on the Batrider, like we mentioned, but they're looking to maybe go for a Roach as well, which wouldn't be a bad decision either. They got Acid Spray level 1 up, so they should be able to get it down.
Well, Roshan being attempted, and there is a Sentry in the river here from Alliance, and I do believe that they should know about this, but of course Fnatic, with a lot of vision themselves, going to see a Flame Break shot into the Roshan pit, and it's not going to knock anybody up on the ledge, unfortunately, which would have been nice. Mech going to be used here by NoTail, but Alliance, they're just kind of not reacting at the moment. Maybe they're thinking that they can't actually take this. Hani going to get a Dream Coil off onto S4. This could potentially be the first blood. Orb's going to be coming in afterwards. Unstable Concoction from long range. Hani actually decides to jaunt to the Orb and does end up getting the kill. Now EGM going to be in some trouble here. There's a Magic Missile coming off and a swap back into the team. Call down from Loda is actually only going to hit Hani and the Bear Fly, taking quite a bit of damage from the Rocket Barrage and will eventually go down. Auto attack from the high ground from Trixie's going to finish off EGM. Loda going to be able to use another homing missile, and of course Admiral Bulldog with the lag is a little unfortunate timing, I would say, but I mean currently it's a 1 for 2.
Yeah, and the fight is still kind of going the way of Fnatic. We see a concoction actually in the air for Ake, so they're going to be able to clean up another kill, and it's most likely going to be a 3 for 1 because Loda, he's going to try and get out, but if he gets entangled here, it could even be a 4 for 1 at this point.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully, Emerald Bulldog's internet woes clear themselves up so we can actually get the rest of this game underway. But if this fight goes heavily in the favor of Fnatic, they're going to be able to finish off Roshan so easily. I mean, yeah, Chen, by the way, he doesn't have his ult.
Did he?
I wonder if he misclicked. He has 7 points in his stats, so yeah, he misclicked. He put a point in his stats because Mech gives 5 stats.
Yeah.
And that is really bad, actually. Like, not having your ult at 6?
Yeah, but this is showing, though, how strong they are at this point, because he doesn't even have his ult, and they're still just really dominating this fight. Even though with the Hand of God up, they most likely would have had the Vengeful Spirit up, so they could have stayed alive even longer, but at this point, it's just like, they're still just owning the fight. And this rocket sound is just so...
Yeah, it's
so annoying.
It's pretty obnoxious. It's kind of... Oh, Trance saving us the RIP headphone users' comments. But this fight has pretty big implications. It's really difficult for Alliance to defend Roshan after this. If they lose this fight, it's pretty much going to be going the way of Fnatic. They already have a core item up on not only No-Tail, but of course Era as well. And you have to also consider the experience and gold that Fnatic are going to be getting from this fight. And we even talked about how NoTide... They don't necessarily have the greatest counter-push team. And they're going to be trying to counter-push against a team that has an Aegis, a Lone Druid, and Alchemist, 2 very durable heroes, and then a Chen to supplement that. So I think NoTide actually in quite a bit of trouble here, Alliance. I keep calling him that, but it's a hard habit to break.
Especially with that name. If it would have been something else, it would have been a lot easier. But Alliance is like a new name, so you're just used with them. If it would have been something else, it would have been easier. But anyways, like you said, though, their pushing potential is going to be great if they can finish up this Aegis as well and just go for a 5-man push. And they're going to get so ahead that even though NoTidehunter got a very good late game team, with the Gyrocopter being the hard carry and then, of course, having the Nature's Prophet for split push and just going for a semi-carry build as well, going for a Crit or an Orchid, Shadowblade, whatever he wants to go for, he can try and go for it. It's going to be hard for him to get to that point just because Fnatic is so strong at this point. And in late game, they're going to have the Alchemist to fall back on as well as the Lone Druid.
Well, of course, Admiral Bulldog yet to reconnect in the game, but hopefully he can get that stuff sorted and come back in here soon. And of course, thanks everybody for watching here on the finals day of the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. Got another semi-final on the way. It's going to be another best of 3, and then of course after that the grand finals. And the next semis, for those of you who don't know if you're just tuning in, is going to be Team Liquid versus Dignitas, which is actually the rematch of the D2L finals that were on a couple of days ago. So a lot of good Dota to be played today, but this particular game, I think I might have been okay to say Fnatic could take the series so far. I'm feeling pretty confident about what I said.
Yeah, I said 2-1 though, man. Could have been they take this first game and then Alliance is like, no, we're going to win the rest. But Fnatic is still a very strong team, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them win. It's just that with the late, or the last time they faced off, even though Alliance had the winner brackets advantage in Star Ladder, they still managed to take the best of 5. So
yeah. Well, at the same time, I watched those games, and I'll be honest, I don't think Fnatic were really in their full form. You know what I mean? Like, typically when Fnatic play, it doesn't look like that. They're usually much more coordinated. I felt like they had a lot of bad decision-making during those games and took some fights that probably weren't necessary, but they're playing much better here. And unfortunately, No-Tail, if he hadn't had that misclick, I think Fly would still be with us here in the game, because the Bear was splitting the Rocket Barrage damage. And like one auto attack from Loda managed to finish him off from long range. It might have been a flat cannon, but either way, not having that, I mean, at this stage, pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, 200 HP extra, that's 4 auto attacks from Loda almost, or it's at least 2 or 3 auto attacks from Loda. So at this point, it would have helped him stay alive, or he could have sent them back to base. So a bit of misplay, but still you can see how strong they are. Mechanism is going to be up in 10 seconds, so they can just keep on steamrolling if they want to. Since he actually used the mechanism for the flame break in the Roche pit,
Yeah.
didn't have it for the fight, but they're still just doing so much damage in this fight.
Well, of course, we have a couple of minutes to eat here while Admiral Bulldog reconnects. Scriff, Bruno, what do you guys think of the game so far?
I think it was... Well, I'm happy to see that lanes went as I predicted. But the key is, if you forget a little bit about the middle lane, Loda got much less than Era got with the Alchemist.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that will impact the next 5 to 10 minutes, because of course, I mean, the more the game goes, the faster the Gyrocopter can farm. And I mean, when it gets to ultra late game, 6-slotted Gyrocopter is much more threatening than a 6-slot Alchemist. I mean, the Alchemist's advantage is that he can get it much earlier than the Gyrocopter. But what this means is that for the next 10 to 15 minutes, if things aren't going exactly Alliance's way, Fnatic will have complete domination of the team fight. And because NTH actually, well, Alliance actually has the Prophet, I'm imagining they will try to just keep safe, don't try to force any fight, and they should try and split push, get the most of it, get the most money, so that they can get to that point where the Gyrocopter can actually face the Alchemist and not be too scared.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me as well, the Batrider, because this kind of reminds me of the Cupid Fnatic game, when Red Pandas had the Alchemist, and Fnatic had the Batrider, and they dragged him out and actually managed to kill him sometimes.
Yeah.
But Mini was so good at disrupting with the Shadow Demon. But Fnatic this game doesn't have a Shadow Demon. They have a Vengeful, but can he be on par with the swaps or the stuns on the Batrider to shut down the pullouts?
Well, I mean, if you swap the lassoed person,
Yeah,
it's pretty
it
much
breaks.
breaking. Yeah, it breaks. So it's not a disruption, and it certainly doesn't have the disruption cooldown, but it's fast enough so that if you actually get into a team fight, you just save that swap for that lasso, and yeah, but Ryder should have a very hard time unless he's really fast with the reaction and gets 4 staffed away really fast. I think the teams are ready. Are they?
No.
No, Admiral Bulldog said that, or one of his teammates, I should say, said that he had to restart his computer. So I guess it's a hand crank PC because it's taken quite a while. But regardless, I kind of am agreeing with Bruno here. If Alliance managed to turtle it out in the super late game, like no doubt they're going to have a superior teamfight lineup, because heroes like Chen and Vengeful Spirit especially, you can only pro swap and save so many times. You know, there's going to be that one fight where the Gyrocopter is just going to use Flak Cannon and obliterate your entire team. And especially considering that's one of the heroes who it's viable on to get a Rapier. If they're behind and they make that investment, they potentially get a Roshan kill at some stage in the game, they could turn it. And then we actually saw the potential for that to happen the other day when they decided to buy a Rapier on the Gyrocopter that Fnatic were playing. So, I mean, they lost it, but that was more so an execution of the team fight, I think, than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of lack of luck as well, because you remember that, I think it was the Flame Break.
The double 4 staff up to the high ground of the Roshan pit with Wagamama, and then a Flame Break knocked him off the cliff back into the fight.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, had that gone differently, the game would have been more in Fnatic's favor. I don't think those kind of things, freak accidents of nature, would happen 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too scared of that happening.
Well,
Loda's aim is off the mark.
Loda's aim is off
Is
the
that the
mark.
homing missile animation? Yeah, I think it is.
It's off the mark.
A little bit.
It's gonna hit
Well,
the
I
ground.
mean,
It's the hat.
now that we're talking about this, kind of the wild card here is Lone Druid.
Yeah.
Because Lone Druid hasn't had any impact at all in the game. He was level 1 5-6 minutes into the game, not getting anything at all. And now, of course, he'll be slowly getting something. What is he, like level 6?
Yeah, he just got level 6 a while ago.
Yeah,
I think he
so
might have got it
yeah.
from this fight, actually.
Yeah, so it's going to be really complicated for him to actually make an impact in the next 10 or so minutes. But again, it's a Lone Druid. You don't need lots of items. You don't need to be super powerful. All you need is one root.
Well, either that or phase boots and an armlet, and you just kill towers.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like one of the most ridiculous things ever. And the HP removal now working on the bear might want to think about changing that. I mean, it's 2,700 gold for a huge damage investment and regeneration on the bear as well. Because the armlet itself gives regen, but it's offset by the HP removal. But the bear doesn't suffer from that, so it's like triple slam. Like, it's really good on it.
Okay.
But I think...
Okay, let's do something. Tell Alliance that they have 5 more minutes if we have to unpause. Because this pause has been way too long already.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So tell them they have 5 minutes. 5 minutes should be more than enough.
Well, the thing is, even if we wait 5 minutes, it might be that it's gonna pause itself. Isn't it like 15 minutes or something?
No, that's only when there's bots games, I think. I don't know if you play many bots games, Wepas.
No.
You're used to that pause, but...
Alright, well, the message has been...
Maybe it's in pubs as well, but I don't know.
It's been given. They now understand the situation.
Yep.
And we're giving them a lot of time, and we're not really being too strict about it at the moment because it is semifinals, and you don't want to have to like unpause if you don't absolutely have to.
No,
and make
right.
it a 4 versus
but
5.
Then again, it's like a 10 minutes pause should be more than enough to restart a computer. And if they have further problems with the computer at this point, probably can't be fixed. So we'll see.
At that point, we could be looking at potentially them using a stand-in and just like a reload or something like that. If we can manage
we'll
to
see
get
what
that to
happens if it gets to that. It shouldn't get to that.
They got 2 dead players though, so they can't control the Nature's Prophet anyways for a few more seconds, so shouldn't really be a problem. But, yep, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, and I think we've been through this game like enough and enough. We talked about...
Yeah, we've actually theory crafted almost every
everything
single
that
outcome that could possibly happen.
What about Acceptor Venomancer?
Aghanims on Veno is actually really good if you can get it, but the thing is, he's a support, and you're never going to get that much money.
Aww.
And if you get that much money, you could have spent it on something like a Force Staff. You could have spent it on something like a mech for your team, depending on who else in that team would have actually gotten a mech, or anything that actually gives some value that doesn't cost 4,200 gold.
Yeah.
Personally, on Venomancer, unless you're carrying, which I've done that before, by the way. Aghanim Scepter, Veil, Refresher, and we won that game. It does a lot of damage, but it's a huge investment.
Does it stack like 2 instances of Poison Nova?
No, it doesn't stack, but
it still does a lot of damage.
you can apply it like once and then apply it again. It was more for the double Gale than anything else. It was fun to just like Gale, ult, or Veil, Gale, that's hard to say. Veil, Gale, ult, refresh, and then Gale, Veil, ult.
Yeah. Has to be a lot of damage.
Force Staff, blink, blink.
It's a lot of damage.
Something like that.
It's too much mobility, man. I can't deal with that many items. I always get lost. Like most of the time when I use a blink dagger, I'll double tap it if I want to go back, just because I know it's going to bring me towards the well. And sometimes I mess it up and get stuck. I've actually done that a lot of times, and then I have to use my Force Staff to get off that, and then I die because I don't have a Force Staff or blink anymore. So I stopped.
I love that. It's like the best.
It's the worst feeling in the world, man.
Especially when you Force Staff, like you're like, oh, I'm gonna do like the sickest Force Staff up the edge. You're like Force Staff along the edge, and then you're still stuck in the river. And you're like, what do I do?
Aki just said that Bulldog's internet is down, and he doesn't know when it's coming back. And EGM is like, well, time to micro to heroes.
Well, they can decide to do that. We could give them the option of potentially just grabbing a stand-in and doing a reload. I mean, this fight obviously going to be going the way of Fnatic. There's no way around that. So now we have to decide, do we just unpause, let it go to the 12-minute mark so there's another save? Because, I mean, they would have won this fight anyway, and they have 2 people dead.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I mean...
you're the admin here, so you tell me.
What I was thinking is, can you actually reload the game if you don't have the same 10 players?
No, I don't think you need. I think you need the same players.
I think
I'm
you need
not
the
sure,
same 10 players.
Maybe he can give his info to somebody else so we can reload the game?
Might be not working with the IP and stuff. I don't know.
I'm actually not sure. I honestly have no idea because I've never had a situation where we've reloaded with other players. So it might just not work. It might just not work. Well, that would be unfortunate if we had to start pretty much all the way from scratch. That would be like bad. Really bad.
That would be like really bad. But I mean, realistically, we don't know when Admiral's Bulldogs getting back to the internet. I know it sucks. I mean, we could potentially be sitting here for half an hour waiting for the internet.
No. So, what do you want to do then, Bruno? You're the resident admin.
Yeah. The thing is, if I don't know whether we can actually remake with the stand-in, which I think we can't, then it's either Like, it's too late in the game to actually reload from scratch.
Yeah.
Without giving, like...
So then do you give them a one-game forfeit, I guess, and then try to use a stand-in for the second game? Because, I mean, that is a little unfair.
No, of course not. Well, the other possibility is that if they are okay with someone handling 2 heroes, or we could take a break...
And try to get everything sorted
and
out.
Try to get everything
and
sorted
then come
out.
back and let everybody know what's going on. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll be back, guys, in a couple of minutes. We'll try to keep you guys updated in the chat and whatnot of what we're going to do to try to fix this situation. But hopefully we'll be back here in a while with the rest of Alliance versus Fnatic here at the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. Alright everybody, welcome back to the Dreamhack Dota 2 Invitational. We have a solution. It is long-winded, but we will explain it as best we can while we have the time. So basically the situation is Admiral Bulldog's internet is down. He cannot reconnect to the game, he cannot reconnect to the internet obviously, so he's not going to be able to play. What we plan to do is try to use the load feature to make this game happen after we play out game 2, which means that this game is going to be played for the rest of this fight up until 12 minutes, so the game actually saves. Then we're going to remake, Alliance are going to use a stand-in for the second game, we'll play that game out. And then, if Admiral Bulldog happens to come back online before the potential second game, or first game, whatever you want to call it, is played out, then we can reload using him. We can't use other players that aren't Admiral Bulldog to load the game. And if he doesn't come back, we'll figure that out when it happens, Trance. We don't have all of the answers, man. Alright, so, okay, you guys can resume, and at 12 minutes, we're going to remake this stand-in. So, go. Alright, so, the message has been relayed. They can unpause. Of course, they have 2 dead right now, so they can micro Admiral Bulldog if they need to. So, the rest of the team fight's going to roll out here. Ake, of course, getting stunned by the unstable concoction. I think having that looming sense of being dead the entire time. Actually, there's the Chen heal coming out right now. NoTail actually manages to get it during the fight. Loda going to be in some trouble here as well. Going to get the Illusory Orb and the Waning Rift eventually go down to Hani. And the microed Admiral Bulldog currently making his way back to the Tier 1. So it's going to be probably not a full Roshan, but at the very least, the rest of Fnatic will pretty much be inside of the pit. It's at half. They might be able to get it. So when it hits 12 minutes in, that is going to be the next save point, and they might be able to get it in time. So what's likely to happen is we'll just pause the game as soon as it hits like 12:01, 12:02, or whatever, and then we'll just have them remake. They are going to be able to get the Roshan, by the way. S4 eating a silence here up on the high ground, and now currently retreating. As Trixie's going to be trying to chase him down, and I need to remind them, okay, so it's pause time.
Wait.
Well,
Yeah,
Let
just
it go like 2 more seconds just to be safe. Okay, yeah, so sorry for the confusion, guys, and sorry for the delay, of course, everybody watching the stream. We just want to make sure we're as fair as possible to everyone, so... Okay, now we go remake game, all new draft with Alliance... Wait. Alliance stand-in. Go. Alright, so we're gonna probably have another break, I guess, because there's not really anything to talk about. I mean, we can't talk about the game.
No, we can go just straight into the game, I think.
Yeah, okay, so we're not going to take a break then. We're going to go straight into the game. Everyone's going to disconnect from this one, and what a day. What a day. You know, when I said it was going to be a long day, I didn't mean it was going to be a long day like this. I just meant there was going to be a lot of good Dota to be played, not a guy disconnecting, not be able to get back, got to do some MacGyvering of Dota 2 mechanics to try to get a best 3 series played. Like, this...
How do we even come up with this idea? It's like... Well,
it was Bruno's
do
idea.
Like this. Bruno being Ice Frog.
Bruno is the stat man, Ice Frog, and MacGyver at the same time. Bruno.
Well, it's good that we came up with the idea instead of sitting here for like 50 minutes or giving a death loss to Alliance 10 minutes into the game. It's like, oh no, they're down 1 kill. Fnatic is far ahead.
Now see, the thing is, the question lies, like Tran said, what do we do if they don't come back? What do we do if we just wasted basically 30 minutes and we never actually had a game? Do we just go to a game 3 anyway with Alliance using a stand-in?
Well, no, but by that point, I think they will have won. I mean, the interesting thing is what will happen if... Oh, I can't actually be on camera now.
Yeah, Trance is he's off his game.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm completely naked, so I can't. Anyways,
Yes,
what will happen...
naked.
Oh, I'm not naked. Damn, you ruined the
Scriff is gone.
Bye, Scriff. I mean, there are 2 possible scenarios. Clearly, Fnatic is at an advantage in game 1. So if NoTidehunter goes to game 2 and wins game 2, then probably we can play a 3rd game. if both teams agree with it. Now, if Fnatic wins, Fnatic can argue that they were winning the first one and they won the second one. So a game 3 is a little bit more complicated because you actually have a strong argument to say, well...
Yeah, I mean, they just got Roshan. They got a really nice fight. They had a pretty big lead. They had a team who could potentially push the base very quick. It is a tough situation, but you're the admin, so I don't have to make the call.
I know.
Yes!
I'm the admin.
I'm so happy about that, Scriff. I'm so happy.
We'll have to see. Let's hope it doesn't get to that, but
Yeah.
if it gets to that, we'll talk to the teams. But the most likely scenario is that we'll have to award Fnatic the advantage, because finally what it means is, like, you are playing with a player and one player suddenly can't play anymore. It's outside of your control,
Yeah.
but there's no way to actually go back to it. So,
Yeah, so. Their stand-in is finally in the game, by the way, for Alliance. They're going to be using Smolgalig, which is...
Smuggling.
Yep, somebody who's very familiar within the, if you want to call it, ringing community. Would that be the right way to put it? So
Yeah.
everyone's ready to go.
Pretty much.
We have the second game
Fnatic
hosted.
first pick this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since
they did have first
He
pick.
played with
Radiant
CLG
first
when Pycat and Loda... Loda played
Yeah, Loda
CLG
was on
for a
the
while.
team, but when Loda left, I think Smooth left at the same time, and that was when... Was it Mystery that joined at that time?
I think so, yes.
It was like Mystery and Lacoste joined together or something.
Yep.
But yeah.
So yeah, they played together with Aki and Loda, so they know each other very well.
And it's been
Probably.
a stand-in before, when Ake was moving and stuff.
Okay, cool. So we have the first or second game, however you want to look at it, being started here right now. So we're going to be able to get into the draft here in just a second. Of course, Alliance is going to be using a stand-in because Admiral Bulldog is unable to get on the internet, which is kind of a problem when you want to try to play Dota 2. So game's going to be starting here, and we basically are back at step 1, Webboss.
Yeah. It's like game 1. No, but it's going to be interesting to see, though, what they want to try and do now when Fnatic is first pick instead, to see if they want to try and prioritize some other heroes to ban out. Maybe ban out the Lone Druid, since if they don't first pick it, NoTidehunter, or never mind, Bulldog's not here, they're not going to
Yeah.
pick Lone Druid. But yeah, we'll have to see what they want to try and prioritize instead in terms of picks and bans, of
Yeah,
course.
losing that player, like losing Admiral Bulldog, he plays so many niche heroes that, like you said, nobody else on Alliance really play. So that might actually have a pretty big impact on what kind of style they're going to be using here. Everybody DC'd?
Yeah, Bulldog just came online.
Okay, so we're going to be able to actually... Okay, no, that's good. That's good, because this is what we wanted. We're actually going to save time by rehosting the game a third time.
So how do I do this? Create lobby, and then load game, searching for save games.
So what we're going to do...
What is going on?
Um,
Admiral Bulldog is back.
yes,
So,
yes,
Yes.
that one.
Yes.
yeah.
How do I
We're going to try to load the game.
Save
Trance is like
number
hallelujah
2.
right now. I'm doing the same
Wait.
thing.
I'm really happy.
But on the
Oh,
inside...
wait, no.
Oh yeah,
There we go.
Why
11
can't we
minutes.
talk at the same
It
time?
didn't save at
Trans?
12 minutes.
it didn't save at
It's
12
chaos,
minutes.
but chaos is fun.
So, what
But-
was the last save?
The last save is 11 minutes, so it's gonna be just as
They killed the 2 supports.
they killed
So
the
well,
Bad
give
Rider
them
as
the
well
2
as the
kills
Rubik.
and the Roche.
It's gonna be like 4 seconds before or 6 seconds before the sun is in the air or whatever from Era.
They have to give them the kills and the Roshan then. I thought it saved after Roshan. Well, it didn't. That's the thing.
We even let it go an extra couple of seconds just to make
Yeah,
sure it
but-
would save. But no, this is fine though, because at 11:03 is when we were paused, and at that point Fnatic had already won the fight anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they should be able to win the fight again.
They're still up 2-1 in kills. Yeah.
Today, man. This.
Well,
this
it's kind of
thing.
like you can't really replicate the fights or whatever, or the Roshan fight, because you can't really say that NoTidehunter actually tried to contest it properly. So they just wanted the time to go. So we'll see what we do. But
Let's
Yeah.
just reconnect.
because you're the
get
one
into
that's
the
saying it,
game.
Trans. So
reconnect, get into the game. It's getting
Yeah.
hot down here. Bruno's starting to unbutton more of his shirt. The ladies are going to be happy about that.
yeah,
Ladies.
Ladies. Or lady, depending on how many are actually watching.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there are two.
them ladies.
I want to believe.
Two. Believe it. Believe it. So we're waiting for everyone to get in the game. Admiral Bulldog is present, by the way, which is definitely a good sign. Just waiting on S4 and waiting on one member of Fnatic to get the game started. So, again, apologies for all the mass confusion today, the delays. We promise we're going to be able to get some games of Dota played some point. At some
Maybe.
point. Maybe. If the Dota gods are willing.
Yep.
Get in the slot, Webbas, and we're ready to go. I hope.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're in the commentator thing. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah,
You
it
can
would be quite
commentate
sad.
with Scriff. Scriff's a cameraman. He can tell us what's going on too.
Yeah. I'll just go AFK or something.
No, we're
Don't
not
need to.
actually in the game yet, Trance, because we're waiting on one more member
It's
right
S4
now.
crash.
Yeah, S4 now, DC'd. It's
What?
Trans is so mad
What?
at this point. He's not happy.
Trance.
It's understandable, but
It's okay.
everything will be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
We're fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we would have been that anyways, no
It's
matter
going to
what,
be a fun
because it was
cast.
gonna be. If it would be full
Do you wanna
best
order
of
food?
best of threes and best of five,
I
it would
was
have been
hungry
11
when I
hours
woke up.
trans. So
I know.
obviously,
Me too.
Me too.
Everyone's hungry. Trance
Yeah.
is mad.
food.
I'm mad because he's mad.
I want something to drink as well. I'm really thirsty.
Yeah. Probably means
some
my
Bob.
Coke and Howlin' Soda are going to get pillaged again at some point.
I forgot my whiskey up in the ski resort. I'm
Every
kind of
time.
sad.
See,
actually.
he already did it. He already did it. Okay,
Oh,
so
well.
we're still waiting on S4.
Yeah, he crashed
So,
apparently.
It's like musical disconnects right now. Somebody disconnects, can't get back on the internet, so we try to be the nice studio. We try to make sure we're as fair as possible to both teams. And what happens? We have to wait longer because we're nice.
But imagine how sad Smool is now. Because he was like, yeah, I'm going to be a
Yeah,
stand-in.
maybe he was in a pub
And then
game.
it's
Maybe,
like, no.
maybe he just
Oh, yeah,
abandoned his
that's true.
game.
Yeah.
Maybe he just got low priority to try to stand in, be
Yeah.
a nice guy. Nice guys
And then Bulldog
finish
comes
last.
back and just like fucks him over.
Here we go. S4 is back.
It's all
All right.
it's all
Yeah,
Bulldog's
S4's
fault.
back. And
Oh.
somebody from Fnatic just left the game.
What?
Who was it? Okay, Fly's trolling us. Okay, it was a troll. He came back. I wasn't even kidding. Like, as soon as S4 took his spot, Fly left the game. And it was a panic. Go game.
Fnatic, go.
So
Here
we're
we
gonna
go.
like
No,
insta-
you don't even wait for the goes. You just
We're
hit it.
going.
Scriff's fingers is
Is
on
it
the
gonna
button.
be
Game's
pa-
going to be reloading.
is it
Of
gonna be
course,
paused
this
when
is
we
an
get it?
11-minute. Yeah, it'll be paused. Every time you reload a game, it starts off in a pause, so both teams are going to have a chance to reorientate themselves and understand what the heck's actually going on, and hopefully everything goes well. So the game
I'm ready.
is now loading at the moment. Fingers
Will.
crossed. If this load doesn't work, Bruno,
It's not over there, Scriff.
It could
should
be
be by
bad.
the bottom
I will
rim.
cry.
I
cry
will
on camera.
join you in your tears.
Fix your game, Icebro. Come on.
I'll try. What?
No, it's okay. Just
Oh,
let's,
okay,
uh,
okay.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Okay, so actually everyone is alive.
No.
Or- no, wait, those two heroes are
It's
still
just
dead.
Venge. Venge just died.
Yeah, and Rubik is dead as well. He doesn't
Yeah.
have a health bar.
So it's just that Ake is down in the river having some fun instead of getting stunned up by the rune, by Era. So Era's gonna charge his stun, go for Ake, and you know,
Take it from the way it's here or what?
Deja vu.
it's like, look how still Vengeful
This
is
is like the
standing.
next level
look at
puppy pose.
For glory.
Okay, so Ake, yeah, Batrider and Rubik are actually both dead, and Vengeful Spirit are already dead too. Admiral Bulldog and Ake running up to the high ground. Era not going to be able to get off his unstable concoction this time. Admiral Bulldog actually going to be able to TP out. Going to see a double Gale coming out of Ake. Era still not channeling his stun. There we go. Might be able to actually pick this hero off. Will eventually throw it out. Hopefully they can get a root here. Teleport coming back in though from S4, and Loda might be in some trouble here as well. He could be dropping here. And Era pops Shadow Blade trying to get away. S4 gets a lasso and blinks away, decides not to actually pull the puck into tower range, but the Bear, unfortunately, not going to be quite as lucky as they just send puck home. So Fnatic actually not going to be able to get Roshan quite as easily this time. A 3-second difference actually seemingly to be all the difference in the world here.
Was I mistaken when Alchemist's stun was off cooldown? Okay, so now...
What is wrong?
What is fucked?
I don't know. Maybe his
Well-
hotkeys are messed up or something like that.
Could be, but one thing wasn't Alchemist actually channeling his stun when that was happening? So he didn't get the stun, which means that
I'm just gonna
Trans has left the building.
Maybe we should have waited until like 12:15 or something.
Yeah, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You know what I think it is?
But it could have
When
been-
reload, everything that was like casting was in cooldown instead. Because Era's stun was in cooldown.
Oh, right.
yeah, that's what I mean. It was
Channeling
they
it
couldn't get
during the pause.
yeah.
Okay.
Because he was like over here and started channeling before the pause came. The first pause.
Okay, so Alliance are actually offering to give Fnatic a free Roshan. Just say, take it because you guys had it anyway. And I mean, that's a very sportsman thing to do. So
Yeah.
Fnatic going to be taking full advantage of that. They have a double damage on Era. And pretty much this is what should have happened anyway. So I don't think really anyone is going to be too upset about it. Of course, props to Alliance for being sports and not being like, oh yeah, you can't take it because this is a new game and all that stuff. So they're still going to get the Roshan. They're not going to get the kills, but the Aegis is pretty much more important, I think, at this point than the kills.
Yeah, they missed out on 1 kill, I believe, because they managed to clean up the Venomancer there in the end, but they missed out on the kill on Loda.
Yeah.
So, a bit bad, or a bit sad, but still.
Well, at least the load actually works. I mean, no
Yeah, that's a good thing.
He's not voicing any other concerns. He just had to reconnect to the game. Maybe he had some hotkey issues. I know there have been some issues like that in the past where not all your keys are the same when you actually load a save. So hopefully everything is all good for him. And he's still level 7 now. So he's got his casual level 7 Hand of God instead of level 6. And he's going to be able to get his boots soon. So Fnatic's still looking to be in a pretty good spot.
Yep, it's looking very good for them, and like we pointed out before we actually had the crashes and stuff, that they can pretty much go for just a 5-man push right now. Trixie's level 7, so we get level 4 Bear.
Oh, bottom lane. Era, he's got the Unstable Concoction being used, walking just close to tower range. Here comes the Illusory Orb. The Waning Rift, Admiral Bulldog, just going to get picked off for free. 2 teleports coming in. Loda and S4 both. Remember, they do have a blink. Hani being very far forward here, drops a Dream Coil just to try to stop the advance of S4, but he could end up paying with his life. Era coming back in with another Unstable Concoction. Not going to be able to phase shift. The first cooldown tick will eventually be able to jaunt to his orb. S4 taking a lot of damage, though, from Era. The Hand of God is going to be popped. Saves Hani for the moment. The Flag Cannon not going to be quite enough damage. Era secures the kill on S4. As we're going to see Loda actually walking back to the tower. EGM and Ake both here. Another Unstable Concoction from very, very long range. And a first hit entangle. Should be enough damage to get the kill. No, telekinesis on the bear from EGM. The orb barely going to miss on the Rubik. He will live for the moment. Era actually not going a little bit closer to get one auto off. I kind of have to think that might have been a kill.
Yep, and Bulldog actually TPing up top now for Fly, who's just going to TP out since you can't do anything with Prophet when someone TPs out, which is a bit frustrating, but
It's a sad Prophet.
a very nice fight anyways for Fnatic, managing to get another kill on the Batrider. I believe that S4 tried to turn around and get the last 2 to stop Era's last auto attack, but might have misclicked or just wasn't fast enough. Could have been anything, but like we said, a very good fight, and now NoTill just moving in with 2 Centaurs, as well as the Bear being level 4, like I pointed out.
Ake is actually, he blocked himself in behind the tier 1 tower. He's kind of just hoping for teammates at the moment. S4 and EGM are both currently on the way, but not quite there yet. And Fnatic, though, they're not going to pressure it too hard. Eris is going to go ahead and teleport top and farm. He does have an Aegis, by the way, so this is a little bit of time that I thought they would be using to play a bit more aggressively.
Yeah, at this point, like I said, their pushing power is just so good as a 5-man lineup right now. They got the Hand of God, they got the swap for the Batrider Blink. Even though it's only level 1 and it's quite short, it's still, the swap is still there. And then they got 2 Centaurs up, since NoTill's got to hit level 8 before he can actually get his 3rd creep, since he misclicked stats.
Yeah, that's
but
a bummer.
They could just go for 5-man push if they want to. They might just want to try and keep the Alchemist farming and keep him close to load up, but like we pointed out earlier, he's maxed out Grievous Greed, so he's not really going to fall behind that much, even though he's a bit behind in last hits.
Fnatic, of course, abusing how good Alchemist is at killing creeps, and Hani also manages to get his Blink Dagger in the meantime. So whenever Fnatic want to take a fight, they have everything that they need. They have the initiation, they have the counter-initiate with a swap, they have the Hand of God, the mech, and Aegis on their carry, and the Lone Druid, of course, now having level 7, which means his Bear now has Demolish. So if they want to try to push, now is basically the time, in my opinion. Also have Phase Boots up on that Bear. Not sure how close Trixie is to getting his Armlet. Apparently not that close at all. He just managed to secure himself some Tranquil Boots. But he's still very tanky, and that's really the thing about Fnatic's lineup that is so tough for Alliance to deal with, is that they are all ridiculously tanky. Going to see a Blinken and Coil onto S4. Are they going to be able to follow up damage? The Orb actually missed. Very close. There's going to be the Test of Faith and the Unstable Concoction right under the tower. Mech is going to be popped. Actually saves the Bear there for a little while. And the Tier 1 going to be given here to Fnatic. Oh, call down. Going to be able to actually clip Trixie just on the edge. And it looks like a Centaur. Swap in from Fly, though. I don't actually think he has enough mana to throw out a stun. No, never mind. He does. It's going to be on Loda. Era in point blank with an entangled Loda. Going to be able to take him down. Fly in the back does end up dropping to Admiral Bulldog. Now going to try to teleport out. Is there an entangle? Nope, not this time. But they still manage to kill the Gyrocopter. They get to Tier 1. And they basically only lose the support for it.
Yeah, and one of the big things again, they managed to kill off S4 before he actually got his lasso out, and we pointed it out earlier, he's had his blink for quite some time now, but we haven't really seen the blink initiation coming out from him, and just the play, or the way that Fnatic plays at the moment, just stops him, or negates the Batrider pretty much completely, with the puck being so aggressive jumping. But one thing that I was a bit surprised about is that since the coil is actually only level 1, it feels like it would have been better to just break the stun and try and get away after that, since they were still kind of like moving over the river. Since the duration, I believe, is 6 seconds and the stun is only 1.5, could have been very worth it for S4 to just break it and try and get out. But he stayed in and got picked off once again, and Fnatic's now moving down to bottom lane. Gonna try and secure the last tier 1 tower.
I don't think they'll have too many issues getting this. I mean, Roshan, he's not going to be spawning for quite a while. The Aegis is going to be down soon, though. Probably about a minute or so on that. So, Era, during this next push, he's going to be more vulnerable than usual. He does pick up a Desolator, by the way. That's going to be his item choice, so he is definitely going all in on this push. He wants to be able to contribute the minus armor to the towers, which definitely helps in cracking the base, especially when you're already pretty tanky as is, just with level 2 Chemical Rage. That's 600 bonus health and a significant portion of regen. Between that and the Lone Druid's tankiness, I mean, Alliance right now, they just seemingly don't even want to try to fight. They're just going to take the tier 1 top.
Yeah, they're going to try and trade instead, but at this point, the amount of gold that Fnatic is getting on their whole team, and Era going for this really pushing build. He picked up a Bassi earlier as well, a Ring of Basilisk, just to be able to push even harder. At this point, it's going to be so hard for Alliance to just turtle it out to the late game, where the Gyrocopter is going to be super effective. Even though they got a Rubik that is level 6, can actually steal, and wow, that did a lot of damage on just everybody. The bounce with the Fade Bolt, as well as the Nature's Prophet ultimate. It's still... Now they just back out because they know they're so far ahead. And
Admiral Bulldog, it's nighttime. He actually stutter steps for a minute. That's going to give Era time to get in range. The Acid Spray is going to be down. The Orb's coming from a long distance and actually manages to get the kills. So, hashtag kill secured for Hani. But being able to catch Admiral Bulldog right there, I didn't think they were going to get him, but he ended up attacking that medium creep camp and paid for it dearly.
Yeah, he doesn't have his Shadow Blade up yet, so a very good pickoff. He's very close to it, though. He's only 800 gold away from his Shadow Blade, which is going to be very good for him to have.
Oh, S4, he's got the Firefly activated. Can Fly get close enough to swap? It doesn't look like it. S4 dodging a bullet there. There was a smoke up from Fly and No Tail. I don't think Ake is going to be able to get close enough for a Gale.
Yeah, just getting that Shadow Blade up for the split push is going to be very good for them. And Ake?
Oh, Ake going to get netted in. And the Centaur is actually knocked forward towards Ake, but of course the Poison Nova was used. Going to force pretty much everybody back. Chen Heal is alive if they want to try to save these Centaurs and the Dark Troll Warlord. See if he actually wants to try to pop it. Oh, he actually doesn't end up saving all of them, but here comes Hani. He gets a nice Waning Rift, and his coil is going to hit Loda and Ake both in the back. Ake, of course, basically nothing left to use. BKB, pop by Loda. Cooldown is going to be there, but basically it's nothing but creeps. Admiral Bulldog casually just walking up the ramp. And here comes Air from the side. He's got the Unstable Concoction used. It's going to basically instantly kill Ake, and he's also going to get lassoed into place after the Telekinesis. Magic Missile from the low ground. Going to go on to EGM. He's going to be the one dropping, and so does Era, actually. He manages to get the Chemical Rage off, but it's simply not quite enough. Admiral Bulldog, in the meantime, buying back into the game. Now teleporting to Tier 2 tower to try to help the rest of his team. Loda taking quite a bit of damage. Nice Sprout, though, coming out of Admiral Bulldog. Back inside of the fight, buying Loda the time he needs to escape.
Did the Aegis run out there?
Yeah,
Yes,
it definitely ran out.
Yeah. He managed to get his level 2 Chemical Rage up, but the burst damage from NoTidehunter was just so massive that they managed to get a good counter kill. But in the end, the game is still going the way of Fnatic, of course. And Era still, he's one last hit higher than Loda, but he's 4,000 net worth. It just shows how good the Grievous Greed is, as well as, of course, him being able to get a lot more kills than Loda. Loda got 112, and Era's up to 218 in the overall score. So
I'm interested to see what this Alchemist actually buys next. I mean, he went Shadowblade, Desolator, Hyperstone, so now he's going to be going into an AC. He's going to have mass minus armor, of course, with the Acid Spray on top of that, and that's amazing for unstable concoction damage. You can basically walk in, almost hit the minus armor cap on your own between those items and abilities, and just burst somebody down. Of course, it's great for pushing, too. And this is a build that I actually haven't seen too many pro players, at the very least, do, and I don't think Era himself has done it too often, if I'm not mistaken.
no, but it feels like, didn't he go for this when they played against Mouse, but it was on a Lifestealer instead, just to get the minus armor?
Oh, Hani gonna get caught out by the lasso. Magic Missile is gonna be there to swap actually as well. Fly gonna be paying with his life. Hani actually not even gonna be able to escape. Swaps basically right into a call down. Buyback, teleporting into the Tier 2. Era does have that Unstable Concoction going right now if he wants to try to get it on somebody, but he's actually going to stun himself, and now we could see Alliance possibly re-engage home, though, as S4 decides to blink right back into the fray. Hani, of course, back with that double damage. Get a Force Staff out. Doesn't even matter, though. Gets broken by the coil and ends up dropping. No Tail in the back. Going to be forced to use that mech getting chased, or actually not getting chased by the missile. I guess that was somebody else. And Trixie and Hani both running to the north side of the river here, trying to get away. So, I mean, NoTide, or Alliance, I should say, biting back a bit.
Yeah, a very nice kill there, or a double kill even. The puck buying back, of course, but that swap didn't really accomplish too much. It just killed both of them pretty much. And then Loda, of course, the flat cannon, like we talked about it before, is just massive amount of damage. And this, just cleaning up the Ancients together with the Nature's Prophet, is going to be very good for them.
Oh, Hani goes in for a 3-man Waning Rift and gets the orb off afterwards, trying to force him off of the Ancients for the moment. But I don't think it's actually going to be enough. Yeah, Loda just doesn't care. He's going to go back in, clean everything up. And actually, the Illusory Orb was stolen there by Rubik, so now he himself has an ability that can get him in and out of fights too.
Yeah, that's actually really nice for the Rubik. It's one of the better spells he can steal, except for, of course, the Hand of God and the Coil. But at this point, it's very nice for him just getting some extra movability before he actually gets a Blink Dagger. Usually support Rubik's get that Blink Dagger later into the game. But Loda finishing off a Helm of the Dominator now, so getting some lifesteals for the fights. And of course, the BKB has been done for quite some time. And at this point, they feel a bit more confident just going up against straight-up fights against Fnatic.
Hani gonna get coiled once again by S4. He does have that Force Staff, gonna be able to bring him to the low ground. The Gale's gonna be there. Immediate phase shift. Admiral Bulldog also teleporting in, and Hani is completely trapped. Absolutely no way out. And a really nice pick-off for Alliance, I should say, before the Roshan attempt is actually done here. Trixie gonna get sprouted in. Not sure if they're actually going to try to go for him. A nice swap by Fly, getting closer to the tower, but oh, Fly going to be dead once again. Loda pops the BKB. Flat Cannon and the Cooldown are both going to be there. And unfortunately, NoTail wasn't close enough to use the mech there. Era, Unstable Concoction, currently channeling, looking for a target. He does have the Assault Cuirass finished, by the way. EGM taking so much damage. Going to get Force Staffed away, though. Era forced to back off after he gets scaled. The Flame Break is going to be there by S4 as well. The Homing Missile now makes contact. Loda coming in to potentially secure the kill, but no, he gets sent back by NoTail just in time. Very, very well done. But Alliance, they're going to be able to get this tier 2.
Yeah, and their team fight right now is just very, very good. Their execution is so good. Just being able to catch out Hani there, and then Force Staffing down. Of course, the Bat Rider having the Force Staff up is just massive for them. Because Hani is one of the biggest, or one of the bigger heroes that are scary for them. Just because, like we pointed out before, with the Dream Coil stopping the Bat Rider. And if they actually catch him and the Vengeful isn't close enough straight away, it's going to be a very nice kill for them. So, once again, killing off the puck or catching him out, and Loda picking up a Demon Edge now.
Probably going for that MKB. And in his damage output, because of the fact that all these targets that he keeps hitting are isolated, especially during that last fight when Era was pulled so far out of position, he wanted to try to go for EGM. He got galed. He got a couple of stacks of the Sticky Napalm. He couldn't really retreat, and then full Rocket Barrage damage with auto attacks, more than enough to kill him. So he's still susceptible to dying here. And I feel like this is one of those situations where you might want to consider buying a BKB just so you can actually go into a fight.
Yeah, but even with the BKB, if he gets hit by the Gale before, it's not really going to matter.
Oh, NoTail getting caught this time by S4, going to be pulled back to the rest of Alliance, and NoTail pops the mech. Does he have the Hand of God? No, the cooldown's going to be there, and NoTail is just going to end up dropping Telekinesis onto the Era, actually popping the Dust. Going to get netted in place. BKB popped by Loda, and Hani just going to get dropped here immediately. Trixie, though, on the killing spree, managing to take down Admiral Bulldog. Loda now rooted in place as Era does fall. Triple kill coming out from Loda. Fly's going to be dropping as well. Era buys himself back into the game as Trixie is forced basically past his tier 2. And Alliance, they are basically just winning fights all over the place right now. Double buyback on their side as well, as Loda and Admiral Bulldog both buy themselves back into the game. Now, when NoTail is alive, they will have Chen heal, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get in position fast enough to contest this.
Yeah, Loda being very fast out now, TPing out straight away and then just going for the Roshan. This should be a very easy Roach kill for them, and Fnatic probably won't be able to contest this because they don't have the puck up. The Dream Coil is still down on the puck, as well as Vengeful is still dead. So a very nice Roach, as well as another really, really good fight for Alliance. Just being able to pick off the right targets at the start of the fights, and then just being able to put out pressure in the whole fight.
S4 gonna just last on the Baron side of the pit. Wants to get rid of one of Trixie's minions here, and it should be pretty easy. Yeah, Rocket Barrage. Actually, S4 ends up getting the kill, but that is so much damage. Like, it's so difficult to try to go in with just one entity and be able to get out alive when you're against a hero like Gyrocopter. And I feel like Alliance, they keep capitalizing on that so well. They're so good at isolating their targets. S4 has been playing great, like we were talking about during the draft. He just finds the picks every single time. He's caught Hani multiple times now. That is the one hero that you really don't want to get caught. because he is your big counter initiation. He's the one who can actually turn things in your favor. And Dream Coil, actually stolen here by Rubik, of course, is going to be level 2 as well. So that's going to be nice for the next fight. And EGM has actually been playing pretty well this game too. He's had some really clutch telekinesis uses, and he's been able to steal some nice spells.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, Alliance really taking a note out of Fnatic's book, just killing off that initiation hero straight away, or the big impact heroes like they did now, killing off No-Tail before he actually managed to get the Hand of God out. I believe it was on cooldown when they actually killed him, but if he would have stayed alive a bit longer, it would have been up for that fight, because he was forced to use the mech but didn't use the Hand of God. So, yeah, like you said, really finding very, very good picks on S4, and he's might gonna steal this stack, even though it's just a 2-set.
Well, he is in ward vision, so Fnatic definitely know about this. Sentry is going to be dropped, though, by EGM. It doesn't look like Fnatic have any real intent on fighting at this point in time. So Fnatic smoked up currently behind Trixie, who is solo pushing the top lane. I mean, this is one of those situations where you could say that it is a bit obvious. They might be able to catch S4, though. He is quite far forward. Here comes Hani with Dream Coil, and he's going to actually force the wrong direction, get silenced. Unstable Concoction going to be there as well, and that is a nice pick for Fnatic. Of course, there is no tier 2 here, but they could potentially push into the tier 3 depending on if Batrider has buyback. He does, so S4 can buy himself back into the game if they have to defend this, which they might think about, and the coil is going to be there, stolen of course by EGM, but it's only going to hit on 1, and they're still beating down this tower. Calldown's going to be there, basically hitting nothing but creeps in the bear. Era actually gets clipped by it for just a second. Mechanism, though, going to keep him in pretty good health, and the buyback going to be enough to force Fnatic backwards for the moment.
Yeah, very, very, very good pick-off as well. What? Oh, I thought it was this game with the Paul or with the Paul, but yeah, a really good pick-off, and then forcing a buyback, of course, with the Batrider. They didn't manage to get the tower, but it's down to 87 HP, so they can pretty much go in with the bear and just hit it once, and it's gonna die if they want to. So a really nice fight and a really good pick-off for Fnatic, really showing that they can still fight very well and getting some good pick-offs. But if Alliance keep fighting like they have, then they're in a good position as well.
Alliance looking to be pretty good, actually. The net worth is a lot closer than it was about 10 to 15 minutes ago between at least Era and Loda, as Loda actually has his full MKB, and Era going to get caught this time. That is a huge problem. Carry down. Look at how fast they managed to kill him. I mean, that was like not even a full second, and Era was dropped right there. So this time, no buyback on the Alchemist. He is actually buyback on cooldown, and not only that, but he doesn't even have enough money, even if it was off cooldown. So now Wildkins going to be trying to defend the base for the moment, but this is a problem for Fnatic. They're going to be using their glyph right here. We'll see how heavily Alliance wants to try to commit to this. They could just ultimately side back. It is only 35 seconds left on Era.
Yeah, one thing that we actually haven't pointed out that was just kind of a fun, sneaky thing that they did was, with Loda picking up that Dominator, they actually picked up a creep, and Ake started to microing it around. Even though he doesn't have Shen, he's going to have creeps. It's just how it is with him, so he was microing around the Troll Warlord.
Loda pops the BKB, disjoints the magic missile, of course, with the magic immunity, but the Bear's actually getting quite a bit of farm as well. He's got a Skull Basher completed, he's got the Armlet, he's got the Phase Boot, so it's not as if Trixie is a non-factor anymore. He's definitely starting to do a decent amount of damage himself. He's level 13. He's got most of his skills maxed out, of course, Rabid being the one that's actually not maxed out just yet, but he's got 2 points into his true form. He's incredibly tanky, and Fnatic, they're not out of the game yet, but I feel like they have lost quite a bit of momentum over the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, they've really lost the chance where they could actually go as 5 and just push them down without having to get a pick off. But now it's really, you saw it in the last fight where they got a pick off on the Batrider. That's kind of the place they're in right now. They need a pick off before, because NoTidehunter or Alliance is just so strong at this point that they can't fight back in team fights. So at this point, Fnatic's got to look for pick offs, but if they get one, their pushing is still super strong.
Well, Fnatic looking for some kind of an opening here. 1,600 gold saved up on Era. I wonder if he's going to be going the path of just going for a heart, or if he's going to go for a BKB, or what his next choice is going to be. Because now he has level 3 Chemical Rage. He's still going to have well over 2,000 health when he has his ultimate active. But if he gets picked off by S4 like he did last time, without the ultimate on from Era, he is very, very squishy in terms of magic damage. He bought a lot of items that give him mass armor. He's got some health, but between Rocket Barrage, of course he had S4 with his damage, Nature's Prophet ultimate, Call Down, Fade Bolt, whatever spell EGM is stolen, it's really difficult to actually live through that kind of burst.
Yeah, like you pointed out, Alchemist being very weak, so the heart wouldn't be a bad pickup, because we said it a bit earlier, the BKB it's good, but if he gets Gale before, it doesn't really matter. He's gonna get kited anyway, so at this point it feels like a Heart would be a lot better, and then maybe go for an Abyssal Blade just to be able to keep Loda down in the fights and just being able to pound out as much damage as possible on him.
And as time goes on, Loda's going to be more and more dangerous. I mean, he's got the Helm of the Dominator. He has the MKB. S4 actually looking for opening here from behind. Could be in a little bit of trouble, though. Unstable Concoction is going to be there. And a swap and a Dream Coil. Loda comes in, though, with the call down. It's going to be able to clip No Tail for the moment. Forced to pop the mech and the Hand of God straight away. Admiral Bulldog, though, just casually walking into death. Walks into the blender. That is Era. Loda going to be dropping here next. Ake going to get force-staffed away for the moment. EGM trying to teleport out. Pretty much not going to work, though. We'll see if Ake can get out of here. Now, Waning Rift. They definitely know he's there. Triple kill coming out from Era. And immediately, a team wipe in favor of Fnatic.
A very weird initiation from S4 there, trying to catch someone out, especially when the team is so clumped up. Like, the pickoffs he's been able to get before, where he cut out Honey on high ground and dragged him down to low ground, like past the jungle by the secret shop. It was so good because the team couldn't react, but now they were clumped up, and he tried to catch someone, and it's like, if you go for Honey, you're going to get swapped straight away. And if you go for Fly, you're going to get Dream Coil, and if you go for anyone else, they're going to have a swap or a Dream Coil. So it was just a very, very weird decision to go in there.
Yeah, he felt indecisive, too. It's like he saw what he wanted to initiate on. He just didn't go for it. Then he got Magic Missile, swap, Dream Coil, Unstable Concoction in about the course of a second. I feel like Fnatic might have some secret hate for S4's Batrider. They just threw the entire kitchen sink at the guy, basically, to take him down. And it didn't matter, because when Alliance don't get that initiation, their team fight crumbles. We just had a chance to watch it right there. Even with as farmed as Loda is, I mean, Era doesn't necessarily care about BKB. He has built himself pretty much entirely for physical damage output, and he has level 3 Chemical Rage, which means his base auto attack timer is going to be not really that high at all, and of course he has the additional attack speed from the Assault Cuirass itself, so I'm not entirely sure how useful BKBs are going to be in this situation, especially because Swap goes through BKB, and Tango goes through BKB, and Alchemist does a tremendous amount of damage through BKB.
Mm-hmm. And Loda, having used his BKB so many times at this point, he's down to 5 seconds already.
Yeah.
So you really saw that in the fight. He got a good cooldown setup, but cooldown with the delay it having, and then him moving in, popping the BKB straight away, popping the flat cannon. Everybody just started to spread out. And then as soon as the BKB was down, they just killed him off.
Well, Fnatic going to be feeling pretty confident after the last engagement. And both teams kind of playing this passively. Roshan's going to be spawning here in about 2 minutes or so. So I think that's going to be the next spot of contention. BKB is finished, by the way, on Era. And he is 6-3 and 13. And his net worth is still the highest in the game. Even though you could say that his CS, given a 35-minute game, isn't spectacular. Again, we've kind of hit on it before. But Grievil's Greed is just so obnoxiously good at keeping you relevant in the farm game.
Yeah. And the BKB, of course, like you pointed out on the Alchemist, it isn't bad. It's just that he can still be kited, but it's for sure not a bad item. It's going to help him just stay in the fights and stop him from being telekinesis stun and stuff like that as well. So a very nice pick-off, but we pointed out a bit, or we touched a bit on Trixie before, and he's picked up a Hyperstone now on the bear, and he's getting really strong at this point.
Yeah, that bear is going to be a huge issue. And this is why I'm kind of not second-guessing, but just curious as to what the reasoning behind the BKB is on Loda. I mean, that bear with those items and Era with his build, the BKB doesn't necessarily give him a whole lot. I mean, yeah, I understand not wanting to be trapped down by Coil, but at the same time, Alliance is relying pretty heavily on the rest of their team to help Loda survive the fight. Like, you want S4 to get the proper initiation, you want the Rubik to be there with a nice steal. Admiral Bulldog actually has a Hex now, so they have a lot of ways to peel for Loda in these fights. And now that the Alchemist has a BKB, it's going to be really, really tough for them. S4 are going to pop the Firefly here, potentially going for Trixie. Will be able to spot him out. Force that forward Fly. Not quite close enough yet to swap out Trixie. Will be able to do it so at the very last second. Fly definitely going to be paying with his life, eating the call down. Loda pops the BKB. Trixie dropping quite low, trying to be sent back to base. It's not going to be fast enough, though. And 2 quick picks as Trixie is going to buy himself back into the game. So Hani, if he ends up going down, he of course has buyback available, as do Loda and S4, but I don't really think that's going to be as important. But Alliance, they're actually just going to back up. They're not going to try to go for Roshan. They're not going to try to do anything, basically, but pressure the lanes.
Yeah, and now them not really having any tower close by, Fnatic could be able to get this Roshan quite fast, and that's going to be good for them to have. Giving it to Trixie, getting an Aegis up on him is not a bad decision, but Alliance still kind of gathered up in mid, but I wonder if they want to try and go for this. They might want to try and catch someone out when Fnatic now goes for Rosh.
Well, with this build, you have to keep in mind, too, Era's going to kill Roshan incredibly fast. S4 does have his lasso once again. But yeah, the Roshan's already dead. S4 goes for a snipe, but he's not going to be able to get it. Gets rooted right after the lasso. The call down will be able to do some damage to Trixie, and the Bear of Cheese is still on the ground inside of the Roshan pit. It will eventually get picked up. Loda, BKB already down. EGM just gets 2-shot under the acid spray, as Admiral Bulldog is going to pretty much suffer the same fate, courtesy of Trixie. Ake comes in, manages to get the Poison Nova off. Loda on the high ground, trying to teleport out. Not going to be fast enough, and Hani gets the kill. Ake being cleaned up as well, right in the middle of the river. And again, another team wipe in favor of Fnatic. Not only that, they get the Aegis and they get the cheese.
Yeah, it feels like Alliance is going for some good targets at this point, but it's just not enough. And Fly has been really good with the swaps, getting Trixie out there. Even though they forced a buyback and they managed to get the kill, it was still like Fly was very fast into the fight, and then they saved the Hand of God for this Roshan fight instead. So at this point, Fnatic is just playing it out very well. And really coordinating nice as well.
Well, Tier 3 now under siege. We'll see if Alliance can actually field some sort of defense. They don't have Glyph, by the way, so this is actually just going to be a free Rax, yeah. The Glyph is on cooldown. Bear basically soloing the top Rax incredibly quick, and all of a sudden Alliance just feel to be in a really bad position. We saw some team fights in the mid-game where they showed their potential. S4 was getting really nice initiations. But as soon as they don't get the perfect initiation, like when S4 got rooted inside of the pit, that basically was the end of the fight because they couldn't pull anyone out. Even with the swap, at least somebody else would have been further out of position, but S4 didn't even get out of the pit.
Yeah, he was stuck there and he died, and then Trixie just walked casually in again and picked up the sheets. And at this point, it feels like kind of the only way for Alliance to get back is not just getting a very good fight, but Bulldog is just got to start being an Asia's Prophet. He's got to start split pushing all the time and just being really annoying against Fnatic, because they can't really abuse something like a Coddle where you just TP back and just TP him in again when you go for a push. So if he see an opportunity to split push, he's going to try and, or he has to try and go for it every time, just because that's going to be their ticket to get back into the game. Getting one Rax at least on another lane, preferably in the bottom lane, would be very good for them.
It's going to be so hard, though. Like, looking at the items that Eric currently has, he actually just decided to buy bots, too. And the Mjolnir now finished on Trixie's Bear. So everyone on the side of Fnatic is just huge. 4,000 gold on Era. He's level 19. He's just going to go ahead and boot to travel to the creep wave. He can solo kill S4, by the way, if he ends up staying a little bit too long. Shadowblade's going to be popped. S4, ooh, nice blink and 4-step away. Notices that he can hear the noise, of course, from the unstable concoction and just runs away. So that's going to be nice for him. But Alliance, they're running out of space. They basically have to make a move now, or Fnatic are just going to go all in bottom, and I don't know if they can stop that push.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they got Flat Cannon, of course, and they got the MKB on Loda, but he's got to finish another item, preferably a Butterfly, just to be able to survive the burst coming out on the Alchemist, just the attack damage coming out all the time, or the right-click damage, as well as trying to dodge the roots and just trying to dodge the damage from the bear is very important for him. So at this point, he really needs to finish up another item. He's going to try and go for this top tower and get it, and maybe TP back and fight. But he's still 1,000 gold away from a Butterfly, so this should be another X for Fnatic.
Well, EGM, I think, managed to steal Chemical Rage right there. Either that or Acid Spray. Not actually sure which one he got, but the tower's going to go down. Coil's going to be there on S4, and Admiral Bulldog and Chen Heal already being used. Fly going to be able to stun Ake, but not before he gets the Poison Nova off. Way in the back of the fight. Going to see a swap, actually, onto Hani. Manages to phase shift. Calldown's going to be there, but does basically no damage. Will slow Era, as it does slow through BKB, but I think this is pretty much the end. There's only one more set of racks standing currently for Alliance. Era is going to be able to get the unstable concoction, actually hits 2, and the Shadowblade damage is just so high right now. Era going to be able to walk away. That's going to be mega creeps, so I would expect Alliance to be calling GG here in just a second. Loda does manage to pump the Aegis, though, on Era with his flat cannon, and he's just going to go ahead and fall back. By the way, he picked up a relic, so there's a chance, there's a chance they could just maybe want to take one more fight. Hex onto S4. He's going to be popped. Era with one punch to the head. Going to be enough to get that kill. And Fnatic are kind of just chilling out here right now.
They
Why
might
not
just
farm in your opponent's base.
They might just try and stay, give us viewers a good game in the end. But at this point, they just want to try and finish off.
Oh, S4 go up to the high ground. Immediate waning rift and magic missile. Not even close. Gonna see a swap as well. The call down from Loda is going to be there, and they just call the GG. Era cares not for the items that Loda has. That damage, man. The damage with his build is so incredibly high on a single target. We're talking about mass minus armor. Of course, you have the Desolator, you have the AC, and you even have Wave of Terror coming out of Fly as well, in addition to the Acid Spray. So that is some serious minus armor coming out, and they just melt heroes through that Magic community. So very well played by Fnatic in Game 1. It was a bit of a delayed Game 1, you could say. I'd say that was the longest 11-minute and 3-second game I've ever seen, personally. But we did manage to get it under the belt.
Yeah, it was very nice that Bulldog actually came back so we could finish this game off, because it would have been quite sad to see Alliance playing with a stand-in, since it's a lot nicer to see them play with the full roster.
Yeah.
Especially losing their offlaner, which is one of their trademark players, just Bulldog on that lone druid. But Fnatic taking the game in the end, so they're going to be up 1-0 in this best of 3, and it was very, very, very well played by Fnatic overall.
I feel like when you're playing against a lone druid and a Chen pick, like straight away, you need more than just a gyrocopter for split pushing and counter pushing. You need something else. You need somebody who can actually contribute in those early game fights. And as good of an idea as the Venomancer was in that lane in terms of being able to kill the bear, prevent Trixie from getting anything done, they just never really had a foothold on team fights. They could never really just take a fight straight away unless S4 was there with the perfect initiation. And when you kind of have all your eggs in one basket like that, those strategies to me feel a little bit thin.
Yeah, it's like you need a pick-off on either the Puck, the Vengeful, or the Shen at the start. And if you go for the Shen, you got 2 heroes that can stop the initiation from the Batrider. If you go for the Puck, you got the Venge, as well as the Shen Hand of God. So they got 3 heroes that was really important for them to get kills on. But all those 3 heroes could save each other. So it's just like, go for one, the other 2 try and save him. But they got a few of them that was really, really good, with some really fast pickups, but in the end it wasn't enough. Fnatic was just too strong.
Well, there you go. Of course, we're going to be joined once again by the other side of our panel, and Bruno the Statman and Scriff. And by the way, I just want to say this now. That was some good observing.
Thank
pretty
you.
much got it all. Like everything.
I didn't miss a kill, did I?
No.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
And you even caught the flask in the middle of the pause
Yeah.
all the time.
Achievement unlocked. Not a
You even
single
zoomed
kill.
in too? Holy.
Yeah.
The production quality of the stream, man.
I cannot
It's
say.
up there.
I was
really
bored.
It's really funny because I was thinking of what to say. I was going to analyze the lane, see what's wrong, and it was like everything was in my head. Then I turned around, and there are no heroes. And I'm like, Scriff, did you remove the heroes? And no, we did remove them when we were starting game 2.
You were.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't touch them.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's like, come on, man, take one for the team. But yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
without the heroes, what can we say? It was really surprising to me. There was one point where I thought that Alliance had the game.
Yeah.
I was completely the opposite that we were talking about. We were saying like, well, Alchemist, the team fight lineup that Fnatic has will probably dominate the first 20-25 minutes, and then if they get past that time, it's the Gyrocopter who actually dominates the game.
Yeah, but
The problem was that during like 20 minutes, Gyrocopter and the team of Alliance in general get a couple of really, really good fights, and they get ahead. They defend their top racks when they were pushing like around here, and then they go and push. I think they pushed middle or bottom. I think they pushed middle, and they were getting a really, really good team fight. But suddenly, 2 team wipes, like just out of nowhere when they were having full control of the team.
such a bad initiation in the jungle here by like S4 goes in and then hesitates and then just fell apart and team wipe.
Yeah. What do you think, Andy? Was it like poor choice in the terms of team fights? Was it better planning from Fnatic or just dumb luck?
Well, that definitely wasn't luck. There's no luck involved in that game. I think I liked Fnatic's draft a bit better. It felt stable to me. Like we were talking about right after the game meta, the difference between picking a team where you have to execute and you have to get a pick in comparison to a team that can group up as 5, walk into a tower, and success. I mean, those kind of lineups are easy to play. Sure, the pick-off strategies work. There's nothing wrong with them, but the second you stop making it work, a lineup like Fnatic can punish you so much harder than other lineups because they push incredibly fast, their late game is still threatening, and like Wepas was saying, they had 3 heroes that you basically had to kill. Yeah. Because if you don't kill them, then the team fight and the saving potential of them is very, very good. So I feel like Fnatic's draft was a bit better. I don't think they necessarily played better, per se, but there was just more emphasis on Alliance playing better than them.
I really liked Era's item choices as well. Like the Desolator, like the minus armor together with Wave of Terror really destroyed people fast. Like it was just like people just melted as soon as people right-clicked them. So yeah, I really like the item choices. Sure, it was kind of a gamble, not going for like a heart, like more HP, tankiness, but it was when they got to hit someone, he was gone.
It really, really hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot.
So, okay, the thing is, now we're going to game 2.
Yes.
Finally,
game 2. I want to say that was like, what, an hour and a half or so it took us to get through the first game? Something like that? It had to have been over an hour at least.
It's been quite long.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, we'll have to make a short break before going to game 2, but...
Need some fresh
what do you
air.
think Fnatic has to do? Was it about the drafts?
You mean Alliance?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Well,
what do you, I mean, I don't think that you can totally blame the draft because there was a game plan.
Yeah, there was a game plan.
Didn't pay off, didn't work the way they expected it to work. I can't even say like there was no problem with the lanes because the lanes were okay. They got what they wanted against Lone Druid. Against the Lone Druid. They pretty much lost the lane, but Nature's Prophet, but it was a lane that was lost by design. And even like Nature's Prophet took the right decision of actually going to the jungle really quick to catch up. And the mid lane, Bad Rider versus Pac, there was no clear winner for me in that lane.
Well, what happened was they had Hani go bottom with an Invis rune, and he basically gave S4 the time he needed to farm up his Blink. So at that point, I was thinking to myself, okay, Alliance are now in a pretty good spot. Their Bat Rider gets a Blink Dagger, they can force the engagements, which I can't take anything away from S4. He did a really good job most of the game. But the thing is, if he fails, then it's like 10 times as bad because they need the perfect initiation. They need to pull people out of fights. They need to get Hani like they did those 2 times in a row. That's when they were feeling their strongest. That's when Alliance pretty much had the entirety of the map control. But I think that's about all the summing up of that game we're going to get a chance to do. We do want to take a short break, though, before we get into Game 2. So stick with us, guys, here. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to have Game 2 of Alliance versus Fnatic.